that, Jill Langley has won a landmark court case against her father's wife after she was left out of his will.
Yeah, the will had been written just 2 months before Robert's passing at the age of 94, where he left his entire fortune to his new wife of 11 months, Chelsea, who was 39 years his junior.
The judge in the case ruled that the will was invalid and that his wife, Chelsea, had exerted undue influence and control over him. Jill joins us now to explain her story alongside her solicitor, Kiyomi. Good morning,
Morning to both of you.
Good morning. So, Jill, your husband died, your father died in 2020.
Yes, that's correct. He died in May 2020.
Tell us a little bit about your relationship.
Yes, I was an only child. I grew up in Billericay in Essex.
Yeah.
I had a happy childhood. My father had a chain of butcher shops. He started off with the mobile butcher shops when I was a baby, and it gradually progressed. And I was loved, and I loved my parents. When I left school, I actually got myself a job in the city, but I gave it up to help my father. I had no brothers and sisters. I was the only one. So I went to work in the butcher shops, packing meat, doing all the menial tasks. And then I gradually took over shops and increased their takings, freezer centres, increased the takings enormously. I worked very hard for Dad, out of love, got paid very little, but I didn't mind because I did it out of love. And over the years, of course, the supermarkets came along and the butchers became really not functional anymore. So during that period, we lived on a farm in Billericay and we came to live in Norwich. I had a cousin and we came to live in Norwich and I led my father into new businesses.
Right.
We had a nightclub and then we had a leather jacket business, which was very successful in the 80s. Of course, leather was very fashionable and I enjoyed it thoroughly. And so, yes, I always got on very well with my father and my mother. I loved them dearly.
So you worked very closely with him and you clearly got an entrepreneurial spirit. The two of you helped create what was a very successful business.
Yes.
Your relationship with your father did deteriorate once your mum got ill and then she sadly passed away, didn't it?
Yes. My dad was, I suppose, of the generation who he didn't have any money when he was younger. He was told he would not amount to anything. So I think that generation, he didn't like spending money. And really, Mum was diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's in 2012.
Right.
And of course, as her illness progressed, I went to look after them. I used to go and do all the housework, the washing, the ironing, and just generally, because they lived in a very big house at Wirral, which was way too much for Mum. She couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I was going to look after them. But as her illness progressed, he was told that she needed to go into a care home, which she did, bless her. But sadly, he wouldn't pay.
Right.
He thought he could have odd carers in. I put lots of suggestions to him how we could have a better life for Mum. But no, he didn't want that. He wanted her at home. But sadly, that's why we're here today. She should have really gone into a nursing home.
But that, sorry, Kat, that friction between you and your father over the treatment and what was the best care for your mum led to the breakdown of your relationship with your father, so you suddenly weren't communicating, were you?
Yes, well, by 2015, I'd suggested lots and lots of things that would make a better life for them, moving back, because they lived at Wirral at the time, which was about 5 miles from Downham Market. And I suggested they move back near me because Dad lost his licence, I'd be near to me. But no, sadly, he wanted to go to Kings Lynn, which was about 45 minutes away from me. So it wasn't like something I could just pop in.
Yeah.
And of course, it broke down a little bit because I was suggesting things to help, but he was going the other way and making things worse. He was getting to a great age and he wasn't thinking correctly.
Right.
So his vision was muddled.
And then that relationship really did start to deteriorate when he met his wife.
Yes, I mean, everything I tried on my part, he was getting angry. He'd gone back in time. He started accusing me of things I hadn't done, and he was accusing neighbours and people he'd come into contact with of stealing things, which, of course, is a symptom of dementia and Alzheimer's, although he wasn't diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's. He wasn't getting blood to the brain.
Right.
So, of course, his thinking pattern was not as it should be.
So when did you find out? So your relationship with your father's broken down. You're not communicating for, as you pointed out, the reasons you've said. When did you find out he'd remarried?
I didn't find out he'd remarried until early March 2020, just before we went into lockdown. I had a letter come through my door. It was a little bit difficult to understand. By the way, just to let you know, your dad got married last year. He was actually married in June 2019. It was a wedding that I wasn't informed of and didn't know about. So we could call it a secret wedding.
Because I think that his wife said that they did try to invite you to both the wedding and the funeral.
No, that is not correct.
OK. Also, there's the suggestion that he was trying to write you out of the will before he met her as well.
No, he wasn't trying. He made a new will in 2012, which I was always the beneficiary. But you see, he was such a great age. He wasn't well. He wasn't thinking correctly. Mm-hmm. So his whole thinking process was muddled, and I could see the mistakes. I worked so closely with Dad that I knew his thought process, and I could see the mistakes that were being made. But sadly, he wouldn't take my advice.
So were you completely cut out of the will?
When I received a copy of the will, yes, I was. The will was left to Chelsea.
Who's his wife?
Yes,
yep.
And her son.
OK. And what did you do then? What was your next step?
I was quite shocked because I knew Dad inside out, and my thought process, this is not Dad. He'd got family, he'd got myself, 2 grandsons, he'd got a niece who lives in London, he'd got a nephew who lives in Norwich who'd helped him greatly in years. So we had got family, we'd all helped him.
Was he still in touch with all of them?
Yes, Christopher, his nephew, had helped him before he moved to King's Lynn. He used to go several times a week and help with his camper van and do jobs for him.
So they were still in touch?
Yes, I think once he moved to King's Lynn, because he wasn't well and it was as if he'd cut everybody off. Yeah. Not from our choice, but, but from his choice.
So what made you decide to contest the will then?
Well, because of all the work, you see, the estate, yes, it was in Dad's name, but it was a family business and I'd worked so hard. Really, really hard. I mean, I'd been out on markets in the snow at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'd humped frozen food boxes around. I'd up takings. I'd contributed so much to this estate for next to nothing. My pay was £30 a week, and yet I was taking thousands. I was organising fashion shows, and he bought and sold old halls. So I used to be out there with a workman with a wheelbarrow with bricks in it, helping my hands, my husband said, were like sandpaper because of all the hard work I did. Mm-hmm. So for my part, the new wife hadn't lifted a finger.
It was nearly £1 million as well that he left, which is significant.
Yes, we'd worked hard for that.
Yeah.
So, Kemi, explain a little bit about what happens in this sort of scenario, because the ruling in this is quite a landmark case, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's really important because, as far as we're aware, roughly at least, we've not seen a case with these facts that has been successful so far.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important for lawyers going forward to use it as guidance and a precedent, and for members of the public as well to gain some confidence to bring a case if they have similar circumstances within their family.
So can you tell us in simple terms exactly what the judge ruled?
Yeah, so the judge found that there was undue influence by the defendant and that there was a real lack of testamentary capacity. He shouldn't have been able, Jill's father that is, to write the will, and it was invalid. It didn't stand.
How did that feel, Jill, when you got that outcome?
Yes, for me it was the truth. Because I knew when my father went to make this will, they have what they call the will files. And he was asked to go into the solicitors twice, which my previous solicitor got a copy of. And as soon as I read it, I knew he can't remember his life. He said we'd lived in Southend. We never lived in Southend. We lived in Billericay. He said he was an army major. He was only in the war for the last year of the war because of his age. You weren't allowed to join till you were 18 then. So I knew straight away, Dad, you can't remember your life. So he should never have been allowed to have made that will. And I feel that the solicitors made a huge mistake. He should have there were red flags that were not noticed.
We have a right reply from his wife's legal team. The marriage between our client and the late Mr. Harrington was one built on love and affection. Our client strongly denies any baseless accusations from the estranged daughter of Mr. Harrington. The court did not find that the marriage was predatory, and we will strongly deny all such accusations. What do you make of that?
I think it's sad, because I think, you know, we went, for an ordinary person like myself, which I am, to take this to the High Court. It was the truth. I told the truth because it was my life, my father's life, and the truth always wins. And I wanted, not for myself, but for other people to be aware that, unfortunately, we have an ageing population. They are sitting on properties that are all paid for, that generation. They have assets. And unfortunately, there is the culture today that they are vulnerable.
Yeah.
And they're often lonely. So, of course, if people befriend them, they think it's great, but they don't really know who they are.
So, Kiyomi, if there's people watching at home today whose family members may be, as Jill's just described, vulnerable, and they have assets that would make them sort of attractive to somebody who doesn't necessarily have the best of intentions, what can they do to try and protect them?
Well, I think it's definitely... You're definitely more successful preventing a marriage than you are doing anything about it if they do marry. So it is just about recognising those red flags and keeping an eye on your family members that are vulnerable for various reasons, and just try and stop it before it happens in the first place. And if it does happen, seek legal advice, because, as we've seen, the cases are difficult but can be successful.
Yeah. OK, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, ladies. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you very much indeed.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. Start with a very, very emotional headline to start with, which is about Chris Halenga, who was the founder of Copperfield. I was lucky enough to meet Chris on a couple of occasions, always overwhelmed by the sense of life and vivaciousness she had, despite the fact that she was facing this breast cancer diagnosis. Very sadly, she's died, Sonia, at the age of 38.
Yeah, it's such sad news, but she's somebody who achieved so much in the time that she was alive, and she obviously had to live with this terminal cancer diagnosis for about 15 years, so a really long time. And she used those 15 years to really transform the messaging for young women around breast cancer, because obviously breast cancer is rarer for women in their 20s, but it does happen. Yeah. And I think before Chris, young women weren't so aware of the fact that actually, even in your 20s, you should be checking your breasts. And she set up a charity, that came out of her diagnosis. She was responsible, I think, really for kind of transforming some of that messaging, making it much more accessible to young women, trying to take some of the fear factor out of it. And, I was listening to radio this morning. There was a woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer in her 20s, and it's now in remission. And it's because of the messaging of charities like Chris, that she spotted it earlier. So, what a fantastic life. And I think when you hear about these people who get these diagnoses that are not hopeful, but then instead channel all their energy, like the bowel babe, like Deborah, into trying to make sure that other people spot the symptoms earlier, I just think they're such incredible individuals.
Yeah, to turn such a negative subject and make it positive and make a change is incredible.
Every now and then, people come along in your life and you just think, how on earth do they do that? Yeah. So for all your viewers now, and I'm not belittling their problems for a moment, just pause and think that this ridiculously young age, this poor woman has died. She's probably achieved more in her lifetime than many of us have gone, double those years. And the proof are in the numbers. Here we are. Last year alone, they sent out 1.4 million texts to people. There were 120,000 subscribers, 3,000 educational packs. That's in 1 year alone. In total, they raised more than £25 million. You just stop in absolute awe. A brilliant life, cut too short, but what a legacy.
Absolutely.
Brilliant life lived.
Absolutely.
I loved she had a living funeral.
Yes.
Funeral,
Yeah,
as
and
she
I
called
just
it.
love that idea. It's just incredible. So you're at it. And I mean, again, I think it takes someone quite special to face that, because we're all so scared of death and so scared of getting a terminal prognosis, and to face it with that kind of vivaciousness and to do a living funeral the year before you die. I mean, it's just amazing, really.
I mean, Dawn French turned up as the vicar of Dibley. Like, it was a celebration, I think, and I think that's how we should remember her.
Definitely.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now then, she's known on this show for sharing wisdom, advice and compassionate support. But today, our resident life coach, Michelle Elman, is here to share a deeply personal story that has recently rocked her world.
Michelle's fairy tale engagement turned into a nightmare last month when she discovered a shocking betrayal about her partner just 24 hours after she'd said yes.
You're here alongside us now to hopefully share some invaluable support for our viewers who maybe have been through a similar thing, Michelle. I think this is the last thing any of us expected.
I know. I mean, I was here this time last week, I was sat on this sofa doing a phone-in on friendship breakups, and I guess what everyone behind the scenes knew but publicly did not know is that I was also going through a massive heartbreak at the time, and I think I'm doing okay, but I mean, the joke I'd be making with my friends is this what self-esteem looks like? Because I'm doing more okay than I ever thought I would be.
Yeah.
So you've bolstered yourself. Just explain a little bit about this relationship, because you were with your partner
we were together for 3
years.
years. We lived together for 2. We met on a dating app. He was my first date after the pandemic, actually. And yeah, in my eyes, the love of my life, the healthiest relationship I've ever had. And then we got engaged on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday, I got a DM from a woman who followed me, who'd read all my books. She had read my dating book about him. It wasn't about him. It was a dating book about how to be single, and the last chapter was about him. And had taken so much advice around it, and then just said, hey, is your fiancé this person, with his name? And that's how it started. And I ended up speaking to her for an hour. On the phone, found it all out.
It became apparent they'd been in a relationship for how long?
They hadn't been in a relationship, it was one night. They had texted since. The last time they texted was January, but he was on a dating app, and so he said he was on a business trip, he went on a dating app on the business trip, and
Did you have, because obviously it was a serious relationship. I mean, you'd gone ring shopping, you'd been together for years.
Yeah.
Did you have even the slightest inkling? Was there something in the back of your mind that was just like, nah, this doesn't sit quite right?
The first question you always get asked, were there red flags? Did you miss something?
Yeah.
Like, I fully back myself. I'm an emotionally intelligent, smart, switched-on woman.
More so than the average bear,
and
actually.
I have every tool in my toolkit to notice red flags. But if someone wants to lie to you and wants to deceive you, it doesn't matter if you spend all 24 hours together, we live together, we work together 3 days out the week. If they want to lie to you, they will. And even looking back, like, wholeheartedly, there were no red flags. I was in a relationship with the love of my life, and the only thing that in hindsight I could have done was go on his phone to find out. But in my mind, as a life coach, the moment you've gone on their phone, that's the relationship over. You've already lost. Like, you don't trust them, and you shouldn't. Trust isn't based off having gone on their phone and checked that they're not messaging anyone. No. And anyway, there wouldn't have been anything anyway, because he deleted it all.
What was his reaction then when suddenly it became apparent that you'd had this message? Because what I can't understand, Michelle, is that you have a public profile. You have hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. You write books. You posted about how excited you were to be engaged. How he thought he was going to get away with it?
I don't think there was a lot of thought behind it. His whole message throughout all of this, even to this day, I spoke to him last night just to give him a heads up about today, is that he loves me, he wants me back, I'm the best thing that's ever happened to him. The last 3 years were the best years of his life, and he ruined it. And he will do anything, to the point where he said, go on air, say whatever you need, do what you need to do, and ultimately he's just said, I'm so sorry, this has impacted your career. And that's his mindset. I don't know what he was thinking, and I don't want to speak on behalf of him, but if there's any justification, I guess, why I didn't think this would blow up is because, yes, I've been on This Morning for a year. Yes, I have 4 books out. One of them's about him. And I have 500,000 followers online. But I live a normal life. Yeah. I've taken this guy to the Brits and no one's taken a photo of him. Like, for 3 years, I've never shared him publicly online. I have gone to James Bond premiere with him. No one's taken a picture of him. There was even a time where a paparazzi took a picture of him and I asked him to delete it. And because I wasn't a celebrity, no one cared, the paparazzi deleted it, never posted it. Like, and that's where, yes, I was a public figure, but there was no public interest in my personal life. I was a public figure for being a life coach. And that's what I was known for.
And like you said, you know, you are a public figure. You do move in those circles, but you're also just a girl too.
Yeah.
So what was that moment like when you found out? And also, did you confront him straight away, or how did you go about it?
So he was with me when I got the first message saying, is this person your fiancé? And that was the first initial message. And I've had messages like that because actually on our 3rd date, one of his family friends figured out who I was dating because of a picture of a dog and his cat. And so I thought it was a colleague. So I was like, oh, who's this person? Like, this person knows you.
Yeah.
And it took a while to figure out. I guess my first reaction was shock. I was just shaking and I just kept saying, please tell me first. Just tell me first. I don't want to find out from her. And then it was the screenshots of the dating profile, his number, and that's when I asked her for, like, proof of, like, I believed her from the get-go, but I was like, I need proof he was with me, he sat next to me while all of this was happening, but I said, like, can you just, and she said, told me the hotel, and I said, put that in your email, and that's when it came up. Wow. And then he admitted it to others as well. And
there were other people that he had affairs with.
And that was him, and he had admitted it. But I think my reaction was just, you've ruined a good thing. Like, this is meant to be the happiest weekend of my life. And we were good. Like, it was shock. And I think that first week especially, I was like, am I numb because I'm doing too okay? I'm obviously bald. I went to go be with my sister for a week. I had a competition with my 2-year-old niece of who could cry the loudest. It was really fun. I don't think she realised she was competing with me, but I definitely won. And yeah, I think it's piece by piece, but I think the nuance and the complexity with cheating that I wish we could include in the conversation is you still deeply love the person.
Yes.
The reason why I never shared him is because I've always wanted to protect him. And you could call me fat, you can call me ugly, I've been called every name in the book. Don't care. I'm more than my appearance. Don't really care what you think of what I look like. If you said that to my partner, my heart would break. Like, do not insult the person I love most in this world. That's why I never shared him. And even throughout all of this, I don't want his identity to come out because this is not a story about him. It's a story about me. I want to talk on behalf of women who've been cheated on and say, you do not have to be ashamed. You do not have to be humiliated. You do not have to be embarrassed. And any shame you are feeling belongs to them. It does not belong to you. And you do not need to be embarrassed.
God, it's extraordinary hearing you talk, Michelle. That resilience and self-esteem is brimming through you, and rightly so. I wonder how you feel about this relationship now, though, because, as you say, he's the person that you love most in the world. He's told you he's sorry.
It was quite immediate. The thing with infidelity is if you ever want to stay, you become a protector of his secret, unfortunately. And so the first day I actually...
What do you mean by that, Michelle?
Because you can't... I mean, I told you last week I'm writing a book on friendship breakups. Like, the research has shown the divorce rates are so much higher if your friends don't like him. So if you have been cheated on and you tell your friends, your family, the whole world at this point, that you've been cheated on, how do you have a life together? You can't. And so the first day I only told my sister, who is 12 years older, has a lot more nuanced view on relationships, and one friend who's also going through a breakup. But I didn't tell anyone else. And then it was the next day, it was 4 a.m. the next day, I was like, no, I can't stay. Like, the first day, my headspace as a life coach was, you don't make big decisions in the moment.
No.
It was the next day, I was like, no, you do not return to the person who hurt you to heal you, first of all. Second of all, he never told me the truth. The lying's bigger than the cheating.
Yeah.
The cheating was quite big as well. And the nail in the coffin was 4 a.m. on the next day, I told my dad. And that's the... You can't come back from that.
No, you can't come back from it, Dad.
I've told all my friends now, also because he asked my dad for his blessing in December. So you really can't come back from that.
No, there is no coming back.
if you choose to stay, and even if you don't choose to stay, I don't judge any woman who wants to stay and work it out. But if you want to work it out, you do become a protector of that secret, because you need the people in your life to also like him. And even if you don't stay and you have kids, you still become a protector of his secret, because you don't want the kids to hate their father.
Okay.
And that's the part that...
There's so much to unpick with it.
My goodness,
You talking about it's hugely important. Quick reminder that today's phone-in, if you're going through a heartbreak like this, Deirdre's going to be here, Michelle's going to be taking part as well. You don't mess with Claudia.
She's going to arm wrestle
when she goes for it. Duncan and Fran join us now from their home in Manchester. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining us this morning. How are you this morning?
Absolutely fine.
Fine, yes, thank you.
Very excited to be with you.
We're thrilled to have you here. When Kat and I were discussing this and your show on Sunday night, we were both talking about emotional wrecks we were, having watched you play, Duncan. It was amazing. How did you feel? Were you nervous going and playing at Manchester Station with all those people around, or did you just take it in your stride?
I take it in my stride. I just love the experience of having a crowd around me, and it's just a most wonderful feeling.
And Fran, tell me a little bit about how you feel when you hear Fran's theme played, or when Duncan first wrote it for you. I mean, I went weak at the knees, so goodness knows what you did.
Yes, well, it was amazing when he first played it for me. I just thought it was so beautiful. And the first time I'd ever had a piece of music played for me, so it was incredibly romantic. And over the years, it's just become more and more relevant in our love.
Duncan, it's fabulous to see you being able... Sorry, go on, please, carry on.
No, I was just saying that we just are a pair of softies, absolutely. And we can't do anything about that.
Well, it's lovely to see. I think one of the things that everybody is so compelled by is this incredible talent that you have. You started playing the piano when you were about 4 years old, is that right?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years. I didn't get the date exactly, but approximately that, yeah.
But the fascinating thing is you never played professionally with that sort of ability, because you could play by ear. You were sort of ushered into the world of law by your family and never got a chance to play professionally. So I wonder how frustrated you must have been over the years not being able to play in big concerts like this.
Yeah, over the years, I always had this strong feeling under things that, why the heck am I a solicitor? You know, I'd much rather be just the contrary and have a real musician feeling about myself.
Yeah. And Fran, Mika was on the show, talked about the power of music and the power of the piano and just what it can do. You must see it firsthand, that this is almost like medicine for Duncan.
It is. It's a real healing tool. When Duncan's playing the piano, or the piano for him is an integral part of who he is. And music has this amazing ability to bridge over fragmented thoughts and memories and connects with so much more deeper. It's absolutely remarkable. It's magical.
And in terms of Duncan's diagnosis, were you worried that he would lose some of the ability to play?
I don't think that ever crossed my mind. Right. When he was first diagnosed, he was diagnosed as mild Alzheimer's, which is a form of dementia. And we hung on to that word mild. And that's what we stay as positive as we can and just take every precious day as it comes.
And how about for you then, Duncan? How has your diagnosis affected your ability to play? Or as Kat's suggesting, does it feel like it's your medicine, it's your happy place?
I'm happy enough. Fran, I'll pass this one. Sorry, I'll have to pass that one to Fran.
Yeah, it is his happy place. He has great joy playing the piano.
Well, look, we would love some of that joy. If we could, Duncan, could we ask you to play a little medley of some of the songs that you know and some of the songs that you've written, not least Theme for Fran as well?
Bravo, bravo. The way Fran looks at him when he plays is amazing. Bravo.
I really enjoyed doing that. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Not as much as we enjoyed.
I love the fact the high notes nearly squeezed Fran off the stool as well. She was getting squashed up against the wall.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see you perform at the Royal Festival Hall when that show happens, Duncan. Congratulations on an amazing, amazing performance, and for sharing, Fran, the two of you, for sharing your story with us as well, because it's really, really incredibly inspiring and moving. So thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you both.
It's our pleasure.
It's a great thrill
Our
for us.
pleasure. Thank you for
so
having
much.
us.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome back. Now, when our next guest lost a beloved husband in 2019, she hoped to find the support she needed on an online group for widows. But instead, Lynn was cruelly targeted by a scammer going by the name of Derek.
After tricking her with affectionate emails and fake pictures, Lynn ended up sending him a staggering £50,000.
Yeah, she joins us now to share the shocking story alongside DC Victoria Hazelwood, whose team at the Cheshire Police alerted Lynn to the fraud. Morning, both of you.
Good morning. Oh,
Lynn,
so thanks for joining us.
Firstly, we're so sorry that you lost your husband. So, passed away. You then decided to join a group on social media to basically find support and companionship amongst fellow widows and widowers, right? So, what sort of take us through the story from there?
So I joined the site and Derek got in contact with me and we hit it off straight away with the banter and what have you. So, and I thought, he knows the emotions that I'm going through.
Yeah.
So that cut the ice there.
What was it about him that you just really thought, oh, I really like him, he's lovely?
He had a nice smile, personality was great.
So you're seeing a picture, you got a picture there, right?
But his text and his emails, kind and a bit of banter in there and what have you.
And you actually spoke to him on the phone, didn't you?
Yeah.
And what would you speak about your day? Would you speak to him every single day?
Yeah, he'd tell me about his day and then I'd tell him about mine. And it would be 3-4 times a day.
Would he be telling you about his supposed past life as well and loss? He'd talk about his loss?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
About his wife, and he had one son.
Yeah.
His son ran the business from America while he was out in Dubai, drilling for minerals, etc.
Yeah.
And did he ever ask you about your financial situation at all?
No, but he sent me, the first email he sent, he asked did I have my own house, did I drive, all those sort of questions, which at the time I thought, because I don't want him to think I'm after his money sort of way.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, when it all came round, looking back, that's where he got all his information.
When you're in the fog of it all, I suppose you're not even thinking about stuff like that, are you? So this is all a sham. When did... Well, I guess I've got two questions. When were you first thinking, I'm not sure about this, and when did he first ask for money and what did he ask for?
So for about 6 weeks in, he asked for the money. And it was like £200, £300.
Right. So sort of not enough to make the alarm bell start ringing. And what was he asking for? What was that money for?
That was for money that there was an accident at work and his employees, 3 of his employees had been injured in hospital, so he had to pay hospital fees because they took his passport off him. They'd frozen his bank because he was liable for these employees. And so it all sounded...
Quite legit.
Yeah.
And by then, you've created this bond with him. You're talking to him every single day. You even put his picture through a Google search, didn't you?
That's right.
It came back clean.
It did.
So you have got a bond with this man. Although you haven't met him, there is a definite bond. So you handed over that money. When did it become more?
So it started becoming more probably in the October 2021, where his bank was still frozen and he had no money to eat. The hotel bills, he couldn't pay them because the bank was frozen. And it just like snowballed from there.
And is he constantly saying, listen, I'm going to give you this money back?
Yeah,
don't even worry about things.
And is he on the phone going like...
Yes.
So you're literally, it's not like a text or anything, you're speaking to him every day. Wow.
Yeah.
So you ended up transferring £50,000 of your own pension straight to him.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And there was no... Did you feel like you trusted him that you were going to get it back?
Yeah, because he just kept saying to me, reassuring to me, don't worry about money. I'll pay you back with interest. And I said, yeah, but this is my life savings.
Yeah.
And he just kept reassuring.
But then he wanted more, didn't he?
Yeah.
So then did you try and take out another loan?
I did, yeah.
How much was that for?
50,000.
And this is when the police got in touch, basically, around that time, wasn't
Yeah.
it? OK.
Let's
Let's bring in Dee
22.
Victoria. Thank you for joining us.
Morning.
So how did you guys find out about this?
So we were doing a bit of research, and as a result, we could see that Lynn was talking to this person. So that's why we've sent some of our colleagues round just to get the story from Lynn.
Are you just constantly probing for scams then online? Like, how does it work? Because who reported this? Like,
yeah, how do you know? I'm so interested.
So we'll just get intelligence through various ways, whether that's, you know, people of loved ones that are concerned about family, you know, family members or other sources of intelligence.
Yes.
And that's so interesting as well, because obviously you've lost your husband, so there's an element here where you probably don't want to open up that much to your family because, you know, you're meeting someone else so soon after it.
Because, like, embarrassed and ashamed, really. Because when do you go and meet somebody?
Exactly. This is the way we meet people now. We meet people online. Did you actually catch the scammer who scammed our Lynn?
Unfortunately not in this case.
Is that, but I mean, how, just to say as much as you can, how hard is it to catch these people? Because this isn't one person, is it? This is the whole, like, you know,
multiple.
racket, right?
Yeah, and each victim, it's going to be different for their circumstances, but, you know, they're clever. So they can get mobile phones, but they might not be registered.
Yeah.
They can use VPNs, which will hide their internet address. So it's then just difficult to try and find the leads of finding out where they are, whether they're in the UK, whether they're not in the UK. So there's a number of factors that can impact.
Lynn wanted to come here and share her story, so just really quickly, only got like 30 seconds, but what advice would you give to people? What should people be looking out for?
OK, I would say ask them lots of questions about themselves because they will be wanting to get loads of information from the victim to use that information against them. Talk to friends and family. That's the best thing you can do because friends and family will pick up on red flags before a victim will. Never give money to anybody that you meet online.
And luckily, you got your money back.
I did.
You're so
very lucky.
Was that the bank? They sorted you money
Yeah.
out? Oh, I'm so happy that you got your money back.
Very lucky.
Thank you so much for joining
Can I
us.
just say something as well? Because it's not just women.
Yeah.
It's men as well. And I think men are more embarrassed about speaking out about it. So that's why I'm doing it as well, not just for women, but for men as well.
Thank you, Lee, for joining us. Thank you.
And our next guests have been happily married for 24 years, but they have a rather unique way of keeping the spark alive.
After experiencing a lull in their relationship, Stuart and Molly Roden-Winter decided to open up their marriage and began dating and sleeping with other people.
They say that the marriage has never been stronger, and now they join us live from their home in New York to tell us more. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you on the show this morning. Needless to say, we're all fascinated by what it is that you've done, and I know you've written a book about your relationship. Molly, I wonder, 24 years ago when the two of you got married, if you ever envisaged this would be what your relationship would become?
No, I don't think I would have predicted it exactly, but it didn't come completely out of left field. It was something we talked about before we got married, but I wasn't sure if it was something I would ever want to pursue in earnest.
Mm-hmm. And Molly, you were the one who instigated this, is that correct?
Yeah, it sounds a little more calculated when it's put that way. It was a little more of just a reaction to where I was in life at the time. Our children were 3 and 6 years old. I was staying home with them for a time instead of working as a teacher as I had been. And I kind of just hit the end of my rope and stormed out one night and ended up meeting somebody. Luckily, I'm married to Stuart, so when I talked to him about the fact that I was having this, kind of crush, he told me you should go for it and didn't think it would threaten our marriage. And turns out he was correct.
Was that a surprise to you, Molly, or Stuart had always been quite open about the idea that he's not a particularly jealous guy and this is something that he would be interested in having involved in the relationship?
Yeah, it didn't surprise me. What ended up surprising me was my own feelings about it. I thought I would not ever be able to handle my own jealousy or that it would just, blow up our marriage. And so the book more tells the story of those first 10 years because it really was a long process of getting comfortable with this whole, style of marriage.
Yeah. And Stuart, were you shocked when she came to you and told you this, or were you pretty open to it?
I was pretty open to it because when we got married, she had less experiences before marriage than I did. I knew it was going to come around.
Okay.
So what happens then, Molly, when you've come to Stuart, you've explained this, he's said, oh, go for it, I'm well up for this being part of our lives. I mean, making that next step from it sort of being a fantasy or an idea or a flirtation to being something practical is a big step. How did that go? How hard was it?
It was very hard, and we didn't have a lot of resources. So this was back in 2008. It's part of the reason I wrote the book, in fact, because I feel like there are just so few stories out there of what it's like to navigate an open marriage. So one spoiler alert, my parents also had an open marriage. So one of the people that I really relied on and confided in was my own mother. Wow. And she was there. She was the only person I knew who had successfully navigated open marriage as well. And my parents are still married. They're in their 80s, and it's not, about physical intimacy anymore, but they still have their partners as friends. So I had that, really kind of incredible confidant and guidance. And I also, we did a fair amount of couples therapy and individual therapy because it is a lot. It's a lot to work through.
Yeah, and do you have a set standard of rules? And did they also change as the relationship changed as well?
Oh yeah, everything changed. Everything changed pretty quickly. We had originally, it was like, you can't fall in love, you can't have sleepovers, you can't date people named Ted. And then suddenly, everything went out the window because we both dated a Ted, just joking. But yeah, no, it was, you find out that you try to put rules on something and eventually everything is up to negotiation. And we just eventually realized that, all right, we're adults, we can handle this. And it actually worked out fine.
So Molly, Stuart was more open to the idea when the relationship first got together. You weren't so sure. So he's probably always going to be okay with the jealousy side of things. It's not his style. How did you cope when suddenly Stuart is seeing other women that you're having to contend with as well?
Yeah, well, the jealousy part was very hard for me. I'm in a very different place now than I was. Part of the reason that I got over it is because I realized that jealousy is just a mask for more emotions under the surface. For me, I think there was a lot of insecurity. There was fear about blowing up our marriage. And as time went on, and as I saw that seeing other people, having relationships with other people actually only made us appreciate each other more, and realize that what we have is so special that it can't be replicated anywhere else. Not that we don't also have, we now also do have loving relationships with other people. That no falling in love rule fell by the wayside because we both realized that wasn't really going to be sustaining to us to have casual relationships that didn't involve emotions. And so we ended up in a very different place now than we were.
Okay, and Molly, do you tell each other everything? Is everything kind of out on the table, or do you keep certain things separate?
Yeah, I think it's more about knowing what the other person needs to hear and wants to hear. It's more about, being respectful both of the other person's feelings and your own privacy. I'm not a person who would, in any relationship, I think, allow, I wouldn't want my partner looking at my phone or reading my diaries or things like that. I think it's important in a marriage to retain your individual self and some freedom to be. And if you have enough trust and respect for one another, it's not hard.
I wonder, Stuart, because one of the things that often that we've talked about on the show as we've come to this interview is that barely got enough time to manage life and my wife and the 2 children I've got, let alone 4 or 5 other partners, 1 or 2 I've been in love with or had relationships with for 9 years. Do you ever get to the point where I just can't be bothered? How do you fit everything in?
I don't sleep. It's pretty much just a steady diet of amphetamines. Actually, no, it actually works out. I mean, it's just like you have friends and you keep in touch with the friends. Like, you basically see each other when you can. And, it doesn't have to be these extensive 7-hour, days together. It could just be a couple of hours just going out to dinner or just catching up.
Does it ever get too much for you, though, Molly? Do you ever think, oh, crikey, I haven't seen Ted for a few months now. I'm getting grief from him because I'm still seeing Stuart and I've got to service Paul as well or go out for dinner with Paul. Do you ever...
See my kids.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Do you ever get, I've bitten off too much that I can chew here or anything?
Yeah, there's actually a term in polyamory which is polysaturated, and I think it's so funny. I have definitely gone through periods of polysaturation where I'm like, okay, tone it down, let's get back to the basics. But one lovely thing about it is that the default setting is very different than it would be in a conventional monogamous relationship. So we're constantly kind of negotiating and thinking about what is it that's going to fulfill us, bring us joy, bring balance to our lives. And we're not just settled into a rut the way I think can sometimes happen in a long-term marriage.
And you guys have kids. They're older kids, grown-up kids. What do they think about it?
Yeah, they're 19 and 22. And so the open marriage started when they were 3 and 6. So they didn't know about it until their early teen years. And, it was hard for both of them in their own ways. They're very different people. But I think it's hard for any teenager to kind of wrap their head around, especially their mother as a sexual being. This is not what we talk about in society. But I think it's important for my sons to know that I'm a whole person. I still keep boundaries. We keep our privacy. They don't need to know everything. Although my older son did want to read the book, and I said, if you want to read it, go for it. He told me he skipped, as he called them, the nitty-gritty parts. But my younger son has not read it and does not want to read it, and I think that's a very valid choice.
I'd imagine that the most important thing for your boys is that the connection between the two of you, Stuart, is as strong as it's ever going to be, and that's not going anywhere soon.
No, definitely not. It's made us better. It's made us, improve the relationship. Like, I feel like everyone's like, oh, it's got to be so strange. It's really not. I still love my wife, and I love her more because I know much more about her, and I think I know much more about myself from this experience.
Well,
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Molly and Stuart.
There's the book. More is the book that's been written by these guys, Molly, Rod and Winder, a memoir of an open marriage. And there is a lot of fantastic testimonies on the back. This book about open marriage is going to blow up your group chat. Breathtakingly candid. Fascinating, guys. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
Bye-bye.
us.
All that, though, here's a question for you. Something that many men wish for, but for Matt Barr, being well endowed has affected his entire life.
Matt has Britain's biggest penis, measuring over 12 inches when erect, which is more than double the average size.
Far from being a gift, though, Matt's large penis comes with some equally large challenges, and he joins us now to discuss some of those. Morning to you, Matt.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in. Many people would observe this and the idea of being well endowed being a bit of a dream, but for you, it can be a nightmare. Is that right?
Yes, I think people have, it's a very insalubrious topic to bring up. So I think people have learnt a lot of myths from pornography and stuff where they don't realise the implications that it would have when you're actually living with the situation on a day-to-day basis.
When did you first realise that perhaps you had a little bit more than some of your classmates or some of your teammates in a sports team or something like that?
I mean, predictably, it was in the showers at school. I think that's when everyone has the first encounter with what anyone else looks like. So I sort of grew up as well before the internet as well, so there wasn't even any real expectation of that stuff. And then had a book that my parents gave me about sex education, and then I sort of compared myself to the book, and I was larger, soft than the book said, but was normal erect at that point. I was like, that is... How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a teenager, it's tough.
Well, yeah, and at that age, all kids want to do is fit in and be the same as everybody else, essentially.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. It's people will make fun of you or, for being a freak, whatever the element is, even if it's something that's beneficial in life in some ways.
Yeah.
It is not what people want.
Yeah.
They want to just be normal. And when you're not, it's an easy point, especially when I was a very shy kid, so it was not easy to fit in.
Yeah, and you kind of want to dispel this myth, essentially, that bigger isn't always better.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, besides the practical issues, I think it does come... A lot of the things people think about, it's more virile, you're more manly or stuff. Again, these are just myths you get because the people who are bragging about it often are... A lot of times people brag about it overcompensating, for example, or they just, they want to promote themselves doing adult work where that is a selling point.
Sure.
But it's not, again... It's not,
in everyday life.
In everyday life, it's not.
And
it's for the normal person who has that, well, again, not normal at this size, but it wouldn't be beneficial.
Yes.
There is, so look, we've got this ruler with us just to try and illustrate. So this essentially is how big your penis is when it's erect.
Oh, yeah, obviously the thickness is a lot bigger, but yes.
Yes, and of course, we're not taking into the girth.
Which is the real issue.
So the practicalities of something like that, as much as people might go, gosh, it would be amazing to be so well endowed, what is the reality of that for you, Matt?
I mean, the reality is you just have to consider it. It's obviously, I want to say, it's the biggest problem in the world right now. Of course it's not. But it's just something that affects you in a way that people don't think about because they only think about the stuff when it comes to adult content.
Yeah.
People, or pub jokes, for example, lads cracking jokes. I grew up in the time of the Lad Mag when that was like a very much, the bigger is better was the ethos.
Yeah.
And obviously, we've reached the point now where we're not so father-centric as a culture. There's a lot about women's pleasure and more female voices in the media to be able to sort of dispel a lot of these myths. But certainly when I was growing up, that was not the case.
And you just then mentioned women and how do girls react to it when you're dating?
It's difficult because it's not something you can really spring on people with a surprise because it just tends to scare people away generally.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly. But also you don't want to be a creep and bring it up early, but it's how do you find that balance?
How do you start that conversation?
It's a big topic to broach.
Yes, no pun intended, but it is difficult to be able to raise that without coming across creepy because it's it's a physical practicality. Obviously, you can have relationships without a physical component, but obviously when, ideally if you're marrying someone or settling down, you do want to know, knowing that's off the table is difficult and, it's not.
So have you found that there are some advantages to it and some women would be interested because they love the idea of somebody who is well endowed?
They love the idea more than the practicality. Because even, say, in porn, there's lots of filters being used, again, it's very small bodies, like camera angles and stuff, so... and a lot of exaggerations of measurements in that. So when they face someone that's actually that size, it's not what they want, even people who are quite keen generally, But there are people who like it just from like a bragging point of view, oh, I've done this, blah, blah, blah.
Have you ever been approached by anybody in the adult movie industry to sort of employ it for those purposes?
Yes, it's just not, something
not your
I'm
thing.
particularly interested in.
No.
I think, again, it's a difficult job. It's real work. It's not for me personally.
Yeah, and I can imagine it being quite upsetting as well if someone kind of approaches you and goes, yeah, I'm completely into it, and then turns around and goes, no.
Yeah, obviously, because people's what's the word? Mouths are big in the stomach is the phrase.
Yeah.
It's challenging.
Or if there's an ulterior motive to it as well.
Yes,
Have you ever had that?
Yes, I have been approached by one girl I thought was just a normal date, and then at the end of it, she's like, "Oh yes, when I filmed for my OnlyFans." It was a bit like...
So she was using it essentially as a money-making exercise.
Exactly, I think that's the issue. A lot of people do... Obviously, it's only something that usually comes up when, it's a money-making thing as opposed to a practicality.
Have you considered surgery? I mean, it seems a ridiculous thing to suggest, but, we see... women would often have, if they've got large breasts, they have breast reduction to try and make that more manageable. There's physical implications with breasts which can make him really, really uncomfortable. Have you similarly thought about that?
Yeah, I have looked into this. It's very expensive surgery. It's about £15,000, roughly.
Wow.
It's not done very often. It's only done normally in the cases of tumours and things like that.
Sure.
So in the case of normal function, it's not common.
Right. And in terms of practicalities, clothes, underwear, just general day-to-day life, how does it affect you?
I mean, you can dress around it. It just takes a lot of effort. Obviously, you have to, if you've seen Drag Race, there's a lot of tucking in that show.
Yes,
It's a similar...
So you employ similar tactics?
Similar tactics at scale.
Just less false eyelashes.
Slightly.
Yeah.
And mine are naturally good enough. So.
And you've also been thrown out of the odd yoga class because people have sort of mistook what they can see as you being a little bit aroused.
Yeah, I think that's sort of one of the real issues in terms of it. Obviously, again, I was wearing a very baggy shirt, baggy shorts, but yoga, you make positions, and I think people just got the wrong idea, and that's sort of the way it sometimes goes. But again, you can dress normally in baggy clothing, and it's not too difficult. There's custom underwear that exists as well. So
you've written a book about your experience. Tell us about the book.
Yes, so I was on a documentary a while ago, and people approached me and said, "Oh, this would be good. You've got an articulate, hopefully erudite, and an amusing way of talking about this problem, which very few people really have. Do you want to write more about it from this perspective? That's a non-adult point of view. It's probably a bit neurotic journey through life with this gift or curse, depending on how you look at it. And yes, hopefully be out next year.
And where can people, if people are interested in hearing about the book, where can they pre-order that?
My pre-orders are available, but the website, biggestpenisbook.com.
So that's your website?
My website for, all the news.
OK.
It's fascinating, Matt, because you can imagine that the majority of people watching will be going, what an absolute gift to be able to sort of stand there and have, more than enough. Would you say having a smaller penis you would be happier than having the biggest penis in Britain?
Well, in terms of the things people think of as gifts, I'd much rather have, wealth or the good looks of Mr. Ben Shepherd, for example. That would be far more beneficial to me.
You should see him before makeup.
Yeah. There's a
very
the
different
false eyelashes like Drag Race, like very heavy.
Still, no, it's not really. Obviously, people are very mistaken about what benefits it gives you in life. So.
And as you said, Matt, we can see that you're quite a shy person as well. So to be talking about something that is so intimate must be difficult for you.
Yes, but I'm trying to dispel some of the stigmas. I don't see why there's any different talking about this than for talking about, breasts or talking about any other bodily part that needs to discuss. It's just a medical issue. It's not sexualised. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, good luck with the book.
Yes,
and hopefully
absolutely.
you can find somebody you can settle down with and have a lovely relationship with and make that manageable as well.
Let's find out.
Yeah. There you
Come back and see us. Cuddling dogs.
Hello,
I
dogs.
mean, just how handsome is he?
Firstly, congratulations.
So we're coming up, apparently.
They are. Lucy, introduce us to your dogs. Who have we got here?
So this is Peach.
Hi,
this
Peach.
is Trip Hazard on my lap.
Hello,
Oh,
you.
and sorry, Strike is coming to join you.
Strike. So handsome.
Straight in.
I know, my goodness, he can't stand the little ones getting all the attention.
Quite right, too.
And he's a collie, right?
Yeah, he's a border collie, yeah.
And so
Having an itch.
just the level of training that you have with these guys, even in this studio with us all around and the lights, the distractions. How do you keep them all under control?
That is the hardest part, really, of training. It's not just training the trips, it's training them to be able to, yeah, like just pay attention to you under any level of distraction, really, I suppose. Yeah.
So talk us through your relationship with her. Who did you have first? How have you
out
built
of
up
these
the
guys, it was little Trip Hazard. He's 10 years old now.
Really?
Yeah, 10 years old, unbelievably. She's one of my babies. She's just 2.
Yeah.
And Strike's 5 now as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you did such an amazing performance.
I was so happy with it,
on
to be fair,
Saturday.
yeah.
I mean, once it's all cut together and
that's
slow-mo.
The slow-mo's stunning, isn't it?
It's so good. And
Yeah.
my 2 little boys were just watching that. They were cheering you on.
Oh, I love that. That's fab.
Were you nervous before you did it?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous, but we did thankfully get a little stage rehearsal in the morning.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? I'll go for that, stage rehearsal. And I thought then I can make sure the younger 2 are happy, okay.
Is this the post-performance massage?
Oh, no,
happening
apparently
right now?
apparently so. And
Cats like this.
because I could see they were very happy in the theatre and stuff like that, I thought, yeah, I'm going to go for it. And they were really happy on stage.
Yeah.
And stuff. But that's the, yeah.
So good.
We've seen you in the past.
Yes.
You've been in Britain's Got Talent in the past and you got to the final.
I did, yeah.
Obviously a long time ago now.
Yes.
But you decided to come back. Well, that was with Trip.
That was with little Trip here, yeah.
So you've come back and I mean, the wonderful thing watching the boys commentating on Saturday night when more and more dogs get coming out.
Yes, yeah.
How much harder is it when you've got 4 dogs or 3 dogs to control than just
significantly so, yeah, you know, because it's just, you're just hoping that everybody does their part, you know, and that nobody gets a bit distracted or nobody, because they're doing so many things, interacting with each other as well, so they're relying on each other. It's not just sort of me and one dog. Sorry, he's such a fool.
He's like,
me and one dog.
More.
Yeah, we have to run everybody's part going right, I suppose, and it did. So we're really happy.
I mean, I do feel slightly ridiculous asking this question, but we have to do it.
Yeah.
Do they like doing it? Or is it... Because some people might say, oh, it's cruel.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks as though he's quite...
I mean, sorry, yeah. We do get some interesting comments, though. It's like because people think they look so well trained, it's like they don't understand that they are just normal pets. They live in our house, they're our family. It's a bit of an extracurricular activity for them, really. That's all it is. Like with Strike, for example, you know, collies were bred to herd sheep and stuff like that. But we don't have a herd of sheep. So, you know, people can do bits of tricks or agility or obedience or different things just to keep their brains and bodies occupied, really.
Yeah.
And the training's all done with treats or their favourite toys. Yeah.
Lisa, how do you go, though, from sitting, rolling over, lying down, to hugging, was it Strike that jumped on the back, Trip jumped on the back of... I mean, how do you even go about creating that and doing it?
I mean, it's all taught with treats, and like with Strike, for example, I can teach him quite easily to hug a cane or something like that, or a broomstick you can use even. And then once he can do that, if you've got 2 dogs that have got a really solid relationship and they're really happy with each other, you can sort of use treats to, you know, I use treats to lure Trip to Strike, and then Strike would put his arm around Trip, and we built it up from there until we can eventually, like, fade out the hand signals and get it on a verbal cue. So, and then it looks a bit more magical then than when we're not luring them.
It's so clever, though. And you do, this is kind of your day job as well, training dogs, right?
Yeah. I do perform with my own dogs at events and stuff like that, but also I do a bit of training for film and TV, so I'm not in front of camera, but I'm handling the dogs that are in front of camera.
Because they're like little... I'm sorry, they're like little ninjas, aren't they? The little ones particularly. They're just extraordinary.
That's some of my TikTok there, that is.
And actually, Trip's been in a few things as well. He was in Ted Lasso, am I right in saying that? We got a bit of Trip in Ted Lasso.
Taught to...
We got that? No?
Oh.
Should have.
Taught to cock... There we go. Taught to cock his leg on cue, as if he's having a wee there, but he's not having a wee, I can assure you. That's a trained back foot target to make it look like he's having a wee. So,
back foot target? I've not heard it called that before.
Yeah, we teach them to target their back foot to something and it looks like they're having a wee. So,
and you did so well on Saturday night. 4 yeses. And then Simon came to the side of the stage.
That was magical. That blew my mind.
What did he say?
He said he was so glad I came back. Yeah. I mean, he did ask about how the dogs were trained as well, but that meant quite a lot to me that he said, like, he was so glad that we came back. I thought that was... Yeah, it was really amazing.
The thing is, though, Lisa, as you know, you've got to get through the next stage and then get through to the lives. And it has to escalate. We've seen some amazing tricks from you now. Is there bigger, more exciting, more complicated things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we put that audition together quite quickly, really. So I really hope we get through because we've got a lot more that we can do.
The one thing I was going to say, is there like a mystic trick that you've seen done that you think is the hardest thing to do? Like conjurers often think, or escape artists often think there's the one thing they always try to do in it and they don't quite make. Is there one that you would love to be able to trick? Is it like a 3-dog stack or something like that?
I've never thought about things like that. Yeah, more multi-dog tricks maybe. Yeah, my brain was already going to individual dog tricks, but yeah, maybe I need to think. Yeah, maybe I need to think like cheerleaders or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And do you think you've got what it takes to win? Do you think you can do it?
I do think so, I do think so now. The dogs, I feel like everybody's in their prime. Peach, you coming to join us? Peachy. Come on, Peach. Come on, you come and join us. Yeah, I feel like everybody's working together really well. Everybody's in their prime. I feel like, I feel really good about it. I do feel really good about it, definitely. Yes, yeah.
Treats.
I know, I've got treats now.
Treats. Well,
like chaos.
You have entertained us so brilliantly on Saturday night, and we're keeping our fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
The next one, and the 3-dog stack or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Maybe you've given me some. Yeah, that's it exactly. Yeah, you've given me some inspiration now. Yeah.
Thank you, Lucy.
No worries.
And the dogs as well.
They're off.
Peaches rounds.
And then last year, Becky Sharp was walking home with her 11-month-old daughter when a car swerved into the road she thought was clear and had started to cross.
The driver was speeding and over the limit. Had it not been for Becky's fast action to push her daughter's pram to safety, the consequences could have been tragic.
Becky's injuries at first looked to be life-changing, but 1 year on, she's defied all the odds and is here now with her daughter, who was in that pushchair, Lorena, and also... she saved, of course, and her husband, Dan, who has got a very proud London Marathon medal, which we'll come on to. Yeah. How are the legs feeling, Dan?
They're OK, yeah.
They're OK?
Bit sore.
Bit
sore.
Jelly.
Well, very proud of what you managed to achieve yesterday. Becky, we were watching a little bit of that footage during the break, and I asked whether you find it difficult to watch, but you don't. It doesn't really register with you, you're saying?
No, kind of thankfully, I don't have any memory of the accident. I'd say very thankfully, actually. So that's one benefit out of the brain injury, I guess.
Yeah. So to take us back to that day, I mean, the two of you clearly just going for a walk. What was the scenario? What had been happening?
Well, I'd walked my older 2 daughters to Holiday Club, and I was on maternity leave at the time with Lorena. So I was walking her back home, and we were crossing the road and the car went into me. I managed to push the buggy out of the way before the accident happened, and I'm so pleased I did, thankfully.
And what happened on that moment of impact? So you pushed Lorena out the way, and she was hooked into her pushchair, wasn't she? So she was
perfectly safe, but her buggy was knocked over, I think. So she had to go to hospital anyway. But luckily, my mother-in-law, Dan's mum, lives just down the road. So she went to Poole Hospital with Lorena, and I was airlifted to Southampton Hospital.
And you were in a coma?
Yeah. I had blood transfusions, broken leg, broken hips, broken ribs, broken... neck.
You had a skull fracture.
Skull fracture.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. And Dan, you were at work.
I was, yeah.
Do you remember the call coming through?
Yeah.
What was it like to get that call?
Yeah, I mean, your world just falls apart.
Yeah.
And I spoke to the police officer and he just said, your wife is very, very poorly. And I knew, they don't say that for no reason.
No.
Like, I knew it was touch and go. And yeah, you just go into a response where you have to do what you need to do, and went and picked up Lorena, and then we made our way to Southampton and saw Becky in intensive care, where she was there laid.
God, I can't imagine what it must have been like for you, Dan, and for the girls, for all 3 of them. Fortunately, Lorena was so small, I'm not sure that it was an issue. But for the other 2 who are older, how do you cope in that sort of scenario? How do you get through those 8 weeks she was in the coma and then the months of rehab afterwards?
Well, obviously, the first thing is you come back from the hospital and you have to tell the older 2 that Mummy's in hospital, she's not coming home, she's unconscious. And that's the sort of the start of the challenge, really, because they just want to they're mooching.
And they're only 8 and 6, your children as well, and you don't know what's about to happen either.
No, and I think we had to sort of be very, very careful about what we said, but we were honest from the beginning. Yeah. And pretty soon, I think on the Thursday, it was the Tuesday it happened, on the Thursday we took the girls in to see Becky and they saw her in intensive care. And then, started effectively 8 months of hospital visits with sort of Becky, thankfully, progressing over time. But just a huge amount of uncertainty. There's no guarantees with brain injury. So.
And it was slow progress as well, wasn't it? How did you progress?
So it sort of started out where after 2 weeks they removed the sedation medication. So they that's the opportunity that Becky could have woken up.
Okay.
And the consultant at that point said to me, if you want to see how Becky's going to be in 6 months, you've just got to wait 6 months. And at that point, she hadn't woken up.
Right.
And it was about 8 weeks. It's sort of very gradual. It goes from opening eyes to starting to do small hand movements and things. Yeah. But yeah, it's really painfully slow. But Becky's been so good throughout it, and she's, as soon as...
You played some wedding music, didn't you? And she started singing?
Yes, yeah. So she started singing along to that. And it's sort of punctuated with those moments of sort of real... sort of progress, and you kind of look back and think, wow, we've come really far.
Defying the odds, though, Becky, is what you've managed to do, just in terms of the expectation of the experts to where you are now. I mean, how are you feeling? What is life like for you?
Yeah, I mean, life has gone back to as much like normality as it can do at the moment, I guess. Like, I walk the older two to school in the morning and Lozzie to the childminder when she's there. And I pick them up from school in the afternoon.
And you're able to have them on their own for a few hours now and stuff, aren't you? So.
Yeah, so, it's slowly getting back to normal.
Slowly getting there.
And Dan, you ran the marathon
yesterday.
Hold it up.
Hold the medal up.
For Brain Research UK, you were raising money for the charity. How have those guys helped you?
Yeah, so it feels like a bit of a full circle thing, really, because before the accident, I was prepared ready to run Manchester Marathon. And I didn't, it was 5 days away and I didn't get to run it, obviously. But to be able to fundraise for Brain Research UK, they're the largest funder of brain research in the UK. And they're just, all of the stuff that they do, all the research, feeds the professionals and the doctors that then informs that care for people with traumatic brain injury.
Yes.
And so far, we've managed to raise around £19,000.
Amazing.
Well
hopefully is going to get doubled by one of Becky's brothers' companies that he works for.
Brilliant. So you've got someone's going to match the funding and people can still sponsor you if they'd like to.
Absolutely, yeah, that'd be fantastic. So.
Well, look, it's an amazing story, Becky. You're an absolute hero for fighting. It's sort of testament to your life force in you and wanting to be around for your girls and Dan as well. That you've made such an amazing recovery and continue good luck with that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you
all for
very
coming
much.
in.
Thank you so
and
much.
Well done, Lozzie, as well.
Yeah.
She's coped brilliantly.
Yeah, she doesn't care about it. She doesn't care.
Before all that, if you take a look at our sofa right now, it might seem like we've opened a creche for newborn babies.
Who would trust us with their children?
Certainly not us.
If you look extremely closely, you might be able to spot that these are actually super lifelike dolls.
Yeah, they're known as reborn dolls, which don't just look like real babies. They actually also weigh the same. They've got real hair. Some of them can even have a heartbeat.
We're joined now by their creator, Jane Seddon. Good morning.
Morning, Jane.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So tell me, first of all, I mean, you can't make these dolls and not love dolls. So where did your love of dolls come from?
Well, I didn't really have many dolls when I was a child. I think, had one because I was one of 5 children and 4 of them were boys. So,
okay.
You know, then it was kind of everything was handed down, you know, that you got as gifts for Christmas and birthdays. So, and I had a friend who had a really lovely dolls pram and a beautiful baby doll. And I always wanted one, never got one. So when I discovered porcelain dolls to begin with.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And I was a stay-at-home mum because I had 2 sons that were quite ill.
Okay.
So I then started to make porcelain dolls and sell them, and that grew into quite a big business. And I used to supply 40 shops all over the world. So you know.
There you go. Find something you love and do it really well.
The extraordinary thing is that these aren't porcelain, though, are they?
No.
And I've just picked this one. The weight of this doll feels like a real baby.
It's been a long time for you, Ben.
It has been a really long time, but you do feel like you're holding something very precious when I'm holding.
Yeah, they're weighted specially to feel like a newborn baby.
Do you mind if I go round for a newborn?
You're going to go
I
and
want
find
a
a
real newborn. I want a newbie.
How did you suddenly... So you shifted from porcelain to these reborn...
Yeah, well, I did porcelain for about 15 years, and then that kind of, you know, became less desirable.
Right, OK.
And then somebody in America was making these reborn dolls from baby dolls that they would take apart and then paint them to look like a real baby. So initially when it started, there were no kits or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was literally taking apart baby dolls, and that's why they're called reborns.
I see.
And then that kind of, we heard about it here in the UK, and because I was already making dolls already, I then started to make the reborn dolls.
I mean, they're so... Look at my thumb. I'm doing this, and I don't know why I'm doing it.
The workmanship on this is absolutely exquisite. You've done an amazing thing, and I think that's one of the things is that they are a little bit eerie as well, until you put your hands on them and you can sort of realise. And there is something about them, maybe it's because we've seen films and bits and pieces where dolls come, but they feel so lifelike, but they're not. What do you say to people that say, oh, it's a bit sinister, it's a bit weird?
Well, what I normally say is once you get to, look at the doll and feel it, you will change your mind, really, because the feel of them, it's got a good feel about it, and that's why they're good for children with autism or adults with autism or dementia, Alzheimer's and things like that, because they produce like a hormone in your body that is a feel-good hormone.
Can you feel it?
And, you know, it gives you confidence. Like I made a doll for a young man in his 20s. He had autism, quite severe. But he found that when he carried the baby with him, if he went on the bus or whatever, it just gave him the confidence to go out on public transport, you know, so...
I do have to say, so when I saw them when we were rehearsing this morning with the director, Nick, we were and I was like, oh, that's very... But weirdly...
Holding them feels different.
Holding them feels completely different,
I totally agree.
Completely different.
Yeah.
But then you can make them smell of babies. You can also put heartbeats in them as well, like properly bespoke them for...
And breathing mechanisms.
So they'll breathe up and down.
Yeah.
They are beautifully made. How much does one of these cost? And what's the basic model and what's the most expensive?
Well, they start from around about 200, 250 upward from there.
And what would be the top end? Thousands. So a breathing mechanism and a heartbeat, that's going to get all the more expensive.
Yeah, but it's also to do with some of the dolls are limited edition, so you can't buy them again. You can't buy the kits again.
Right.
And that makes them really valuable.
But they've got like hair and everything. Well, how do you do the hair?
That's done with goat's hair, Angora goats.
Right.
I've got 4 Angora goats.
Oh, you've got your own goats?
Yes.
So you keep the goats for the hair, for the baby, for the dolls?
And we dye it and, you know, make it for our dolls. So, it's...
And it's an extra... You've been able to make, as we were saying, this hobby of yours into a really successful bussbusiness.
Yes.
It means you've been able to look after your boys and work from home and create something that you're really passionate about.
Absolutely, yeah.
So and each one comes with their own certificate?
Yes, you normally come with a certificate.
A birth certificate?
They come with a certificate from the actual kit itself, you know, so it proves its authenticity.
Yeah.
And then we actually provide a certificate with the doll's name, and you can choose the doll's name and date of birth, which people like, because sometimes it's we've made them specially for them for a specific, you know, maybe a baby that they've lost or a baby that they, a child that they want to remember what they were like when they were a baby.
Because it does, it passes in the blink of an eye. Like there is a thing where you forget and then you remember. It's so weird, you remember then.
Jane, they're amazing. And we all had our own preconceived ideas of what this was going to be like.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought they were going to be a little strange and eerie, but holding them...
strange.
Yeah.
And they are. And you just sit... You can tell they're not like my two because this one's very happy and content and hasn't soiled itself yet. And I've got two boys that are still doing that now as teenagers.
I'd love
they
to
don't
dress
cry.
Sam up like that. He'd love it, right?
He really would. Jane, thank you for bringing them in.
Thank you very much. Thank
just
you.
Extraordinary.
You're welcome.
And they are beautifully made as well. They really are.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
And Richard Gadd joins us now here this morning. Good morning to you.
Thanks
First of all, let's start off by saying congratulations. Number one on Netflix.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it, we've been discussing it all morning, and just how brilliantly it's written, how there isn't really a villain or a hero in it. It's all about discussing the grey of human beings, essentially. Yeah. You must feel so proud of it.
Yeah, I'm super proud of it. It's blown up so quickly and so fast all around the world that I didn't expect it in a lot of ways. I really believed in the show, but the fact that it's gone so sort of stratospheric so quickly, for such a cult, quite niche sort of story, I mean, it's kind of amazing. So it's clearly struck a chord.
The underlying thing is this is your lived experience. You actually went through this. So we're watching this very dark comedy because it's written like that and it is funny happening. And the whole time thinking, crikey, you actually went through this. When did you think this extraordinarily traumatic 4.5 years of your life would make a great comedy drama?
Well, I'd started sort of doing it on the stage. I'd gone through some pretty bad things, stalking and stuff that probably can't discuss at this time, but you know...
They're all in Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, they're all in Baby Reindeer, yeah. And I got a catharsis from going to the Edinburgh Festival and actually performing these plays and exploring the themes and just getting it all out there. And I achieved sort of acceptance around them. And those shows took off, and Baby Reindeer took off, started at the Edinburgh Festival, went to London, and just it built and built and built, and then Netflix came to me and were like, do you want to make this into a series? It just snowballed and snowballed, and you just hope that kind of catharsis just keeps going on at an even bigger scale, so, yeah.
I mean, we don't want to give it all away, because you've got to watch it, but essentially it all begins with one random act of kindness.
Yes.
And then as it develops through, you can see in hindsight, knowing what's going to happen, all the little mistakes that your character makes along the way. But is that kind of what happened in real life too?
Yeah, absolutely. It did all start with a drink on the house. And I knew almost immediately, that's why so much is made about that look up in episode 1, that look up that Martha does. That is very reminiscent of what happened. I almost knew the second I'd done that, I'd made that gesture, that, oh, something's brewing here.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to get to the extent that it did get, but it definitely started in that moment, yeah.
And just, I mean, in terms of the experience of having somebody who was stalking you, how bad did it get?
Oh, it got pretty bad. It got pretty relentless. At one stage, it was like an assault on all senses across all media, emails, phone, everything. It felt like a barrage, a constant sort of 24/7 issue.
And you found, I think one of the things that I get from the series is that you understand that you have a responsibility within that as well. You had, at certain periods, as Kat was saying, you had done things that perhaps when you look at it, you think, maybe I encouraged some of this and I shouldn't have. Yeah,
absolutely. I didn't want to do a sort of... It felt too easy to do a cup of tea and, aren't I such a victim? It didn't feel that way. Exactly. It didn't feel that way in life. I indulged it. I was in a bad place. I made stupid errors. I sort of felt like I needed someone to give me attention in a way because my confidence was rock bottom. And I wanted to get that in. I wanted to show the nuances of the human condition, really. I wanted to show that people are a mixture of good and bad. And I think stalker stories usually tend to be one person's good, one person's bad. And I wanted to kind of get away from that.
I have to say, your co-star as well, Jessica Gunning.
Yeah, amazing.
How she transports herself in a split second, from being incredibly aggressive and very frightening to suddenly being,
Sweetness and light.
Yeah, you feel so sorry for her. She's heartbreaking almost.
Yes,
Must have been great to be opposite her.
Oh, I adored her. There were times when we'd be shooting shots and the camera would be over my shoulder on her and I'd forget to say my lines because I'm like, God, she's so good. She's just so good. Oh, sorry, I've messed the scene up. And she's remarkable. I think she's the best actress in this country. I do. And I always had her in mind for Martha. I saw her in TV shows. I saw a spark. I saw a vulnerability. I saw a light, a darkness. I saw it all, and I was sort of pushing her from the start, really. So she's great.
There's a little clip. We're not giving much away, but there's a little clip in the trailer where you go into the police station for the first time. And you say, "Look, I think I've got a stalker."
Yeah, yeah.
The reality of that is something that you lived as well. There's sort of dismissive nature of what you took to them. What was that experience like? And what do you think needs to be done? Because you're not the first person to experience something like this. But it took you having to prove there was a threat of physical violence for them to take you seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it always felt like a long and convoluted process. It always felt way more difficult than it ever needed to be. I think a lot of it comes down to, cuts, understaffing, lack of training, all these kinds of things. And I do remember when I was told to listen to the voicemails, I did have a choice to change my phone, but there was the idea that something threatening can kick stuff into action. So it was almost an act of self-flagellation to be listening to them all the time.
All the messages she'd left you.
Yeah, yeah. But in the end, it did sort of speed things up a little bit. But yeah, it was a frustrating process. But I know a lot of people who've been through it have had it even more difficult than me. So yeah, I think there's a widespread belief that it needs to change, that fundamental change needs to happen.
Did you ever find out why she walked into the pub that day, that first day when she walked in and sat at the bar?
No, but I've questioned it all the time because there was a distress or something had happened. And sometimes I question, was it the end of her stalking relationship with someone else and the beginning of a stalking relationship with me? I guess I'll never know, but I have often asked myself that, actually. Yeah.
How was it to relive all of that again? Because in one way, it must be terribly distressing and it almost takes you back to those, there was over 41,000 emails. You're talking about listening to the voicemails, all that. It must be distressing. But in another way, there must be a slightly empowering moment about almost taking control of the situation and turning it into something positive.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I've got most out of art in my life and writing and doing all these things. It has this uncanny sort of ability to sort of dwarf the magnitude of themes in your life. And when you're struggling with things and everything's on your shoulders and tight in your chest, just getting it out there, writing it down, putting it into something, it's been the best therapy for me. It's kind of been a lifesaver. So.
There's something about being a comedian, though, and being a writer and writing about your own experience that you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
I wonder how much you've changed because you were just being generous and nice to this person. And it's had such a massive impact.
Yeah.
Has it
Are you
changed,
more guarded?
who you are as a person? Are you more guarded about interaction with people?
Oh, for sure, I think. Yeah. I think I definitely think twice now. I'm definitely like out of the because I was going through such a chaos of trauma back then. I definitely feel it was a long time ago now. I definitely feel I'm more out of that, and I hope and I like to believe that things would play out differently now. Yeah.
Well, it's a brilliant series, a brilliant piece of writing.
Yeah.
Couldn't be any better. Congratulations. It's out on Netflix now.
Yeah.
You can watch it back to back to back. That's what we did, didn't we?
We did. Absolutely gripped. It's great to meet you.
Thanks
so much. Nice
Thanks,
to meet you
Richard.
too. Thank you.
All right.
And three of the friends who brought said racehorse join us now, as well as Showtime Mahomes himself, alongside trainer Grant. Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning, gents. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you. Can I just ask a quick question? How many pints had you had when you decided to buy this horse?
I think we lost count, haven't we?
Yeah. I had to strike while the iron was hot, So after a 6 or 7, I maybe pushed the idea again. It started to snowball, and the next morning we got in touch with that man.
Yes.
But we also met over pints in the RA.
It's amazing what happens after a few beers.
Yeah.
It's the most wonderful documentary, this, in so many ways. Your friendship together, watching Showtime, do what Showtime does and how it's brought you all together. Actually, take us back to what it was about this idea that you had that for you and your mates to get together and buy a racehorse. Because it's not the first thing that springs to mind to do with a group of mates.
No, so at the time it was COVID. So I think that sort of changed the mindset of the lads because we couldn't go out, we couldn't spend our money.
and I guess we were just sick, really. And yeah, that just seemed to change the mindset of the lads, and again, it snowballed from that, really. And we also found out that racing was going on behind closed doors, and beer was getting served behind closed doors.
There was an ulterior motive, I think, is what he's saying.
It's a strong theme.
Yeah. So once people found that out, we got more lads saying, "Oh yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, I'll fancy that." And slowly but surely, we got the whole band of brothers
together.
Yeah.
The muffed punt. I had to get that right, Steve. Can you just explain? That's the collective, the syndicate's known as the muffed punt.
Yeah.
Can you explain where that's come from?
Well, we're all NFL fans, so I think it was COVID again. I think it was about December, January time, and we were all doing Zoom links, and so we could just meet up, drink on our own, but be together. And we were watching NFL games, and then it transcended into drinking games, and then one of the a muff punt probably happens one in every 10 or 20 games. But someone said, if there's a muff punt, we all take our tops off, swing them around in the front room, and have the rest of our drink.
That's not in the documentary, by the way. No. That's for the follow-up.
It's for the adult version.
My wife thought I was going crazy when she see me in the front room just swinging my top around in the air. But it's what you need to do to keep yourself going through them times where you just couldn't go out and you couldn't be in the pub and things like that. And then the name just transcended from there, and I thought that's a great name for the party.
Yeah.
So tell us about the process, because the moment that Showtime won in York must have just been incredible. How did you get to that stage, the win?
Yeah, so our dream was just to get a runner at York, because in the northeast, York's like our ascot, really.
Right.
So it's like 30 minutes away from our town. We've probably been going since we were 18-year-old, and it's just that iconic place. So our dream was, can we get a run there? And he ended up running there 6 times.
Yeah. The first race, we cheered the horse going into the stalls because Grant had to go down to the stalls handlers to help him go in, because he was saying beforehand he's not going in the stalls very well.
Too frisky.
Yeah, he's not going in very well. So we cheered it going into the stalls of the first race. That was the level of our expectations.
Amazing. And Mike, it's been the most brilliant journey, because of course there's the horse racing at the heart of it, but what's all the more important is the friendship between you guys in the partnership as well. And that's been hugely important for you, hasn't it? Because you sadly lost your wife, lovely Barbara, and your mum. And the friendship and the support you've had from your mates has been really, really important, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, when I lost Barbara and my mum in the space of 5 weeks, pretty dark days. I mean, that was in COVID as well. And then obviously getting together with these guys and getting a race horse and taking us on this amazing journey. It's been fantastic. I wouldn't swap it for the world.
Giving you a bit of purpose as well.
Oh, yeah. You know, it makes days look... You know, when we go into the races, it's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Getting together, getting smashed.
Mike's only small as well, so he gets smashed a bit quicker than the rest.
Is that why he's always eating? Because it's in the running theme as well. Mike's got to be fed.
So, Mike rates the courses by grub, as we call it, up north grub.
Yeah.
So he's...
York's the best.
York's the best for the food.
Catwick's worst.
There was one time, wasn't there, where she read the dessert menu out. She was going, we've got creme brulee, we've got sticky toffee pudding, we've got apple crumble. Mike went, yes.
All 3.
There was options. There were options.
Well, Grant is down there with Showtime now. Good morning, Grant.
Good morning.
Good morning. So tell us a little bit about training Showtime.
Oh, Showtime's is a really easy horse to train. We've got quite a few here, and he's been a pleasure to have.
Has Showtime exceeded your expectations, though? Because the boys were saying they just wanted to get a runner at York, but to have a winner at York is exceptional.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very difficult to win at York with any horse, but when you're starting on such a low budget, it makes it even more difficult. So it's much more of a surprise.
Your ears just dropped out. Let's just get these earpieces just popped out.
Sorry.
That's okay. And how much is it to train Showtime, Grant?
The costs can vary with how many times he runs and where he runs at, but somewhere around the £2,000 a month mark.
So winning certainly makes a difference to the fees, of course. Grant, how do the owners of Showtime compare to your other owners?
It was a great fun and very enthusiastic. And I remember the very first time Showtime ran at York, he was in the 5:20 race, which was the last race of the day.
Oh dear.
And some of them were struggling to stay upright at that point.
And I bet even more so after he won.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
There is some magical moments in this documentary. I urge everybody to watch it. It's on tomorrow night, I think, 9 o'clock on ITV and ITVX. But your families are all hugely important to all of you, Anthony. And your two boys. Yeah. There's a wonderful... You've not seen the documentary yet, altogether.
No. Charlie and Jack.
Just be ready, because both of us were in tears watching your youngest son, particularly, when he's talking. And just tell us a little bit about your family and how important that is.
Yeah, so my oldest son, Charlie's autistic and non-verbal. So Jack's like a young carer, basically, like thousands of kids in the UK. And as we were filming the documentary, Jack kind of chipped in on one of the scenes, and I was just so proud of him, hearing the way he can speak and just his empathy, basically. So he's had to mature a bit more quickly than another 12-year-olds to say. So yeah, I'm just looking. We haven't seen it yet, so we don't see it till tonight. So we're just our tissues are
ready to go.
Ready to go.
I think you're going to really, really enjoy it, because there's the narrative of Showtime that runs through it. But you guys and your friendship and your families and exactly who you are as people and how you all take care of each other is just brilliant in this. I think you're going to...
I'd imagine, Mike, you've started planning for the auditions for the film version of it. Have you decided who you would like to play you in the film?
Maybe it's me.
Oh, you're going to do it yourself? You're going to do it yourself?
They couldn't take the food budget. They wouldn't be able
Probably
to
somebody like Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Jeff's already got Danny DeVito filmed in.
Have you all planned who's playing who in the film?
Yeah. George Clooney.
George Clooney, yes. Anthony?
Henry Cavill, some of that.
Henry Cavill,
yeah, some of that stuff.
Amazing.
Well, it's on tomorrow on ITV at 9 o'clock. It's Showtime. Don't miss it.
It's a really wonderful, wonderful documentary.
Really
Good luck for the oncoming season as well. Grant, thank you
Yes.
very much, and Showtime for joining us this morning.
Look how beautiful he is.
He is a beautiful horse.
And the horse is nice as well.
Grant can play himself in the movie, by the way.
It's just getting hot in the studio.
You're getting hot. It's getting hot.
Celebrate a special day if you celebrate a major milestone for our next guest.
Yes, what started as a bold idea turned into a cultural phenomenon, inspiring a hit film and a successful musical currently touring the UK.
Yeah, beyond the fame, the Calendar Girls' mission has always been about making the difference, and they've raised an incredible £6 million for Blood Cancer UK.
25 years since they originally dared to bear all. We're delighted to be joined by Angela, Trisha, Linda and Christine, the original Calendar Girls.
OGs.
Morning, welcome to the sofa. We are honoured.
Nice to have you with us, ladies. So listen, Trisha, take us back 25 years ago.
Yeah.
The original idea and where it came from.
Well, it was probably 27 years ago at a WI meeting. WI do a traditional calendar every year which features pictures of hills and sheep and snowy scenes.
Bit boring.
Sometimes a letterbox. And we were asked if we had a photograph to submit for that calendar.
Yeah.
And I just turned to Angela and said we could do an alternative WI calendar featuring the crafts of WI but in the nude.
Yeah.
And she said as if. And it was a joke until John was ill.
Until then, John, you're John.
Yes.
So then
John,
he was diagnosed.
Yeah, which was such a shock because he was such a healthy person.
Yeah.
And he was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a blood cancer. And it was such a shock.
So this spurred the idea, didn't it? And what did he actually think of the idea when you actually pitched it to him? He said, "Look, we're gonna get him out, Bob."
Yeah. He was in hospital. Because he was just ill for 5 months and he was in hospital all the time. But he did know about the calendar. And he said, he shook his head. He said, "You'll never do it. You just all talk."
And you don't say that to you lot, do you?
No, you don't say that to...
As soon as he says that as well, that's the gauntlet
to
thrown
Yorkshire
down then, isn't it?
feisty women. And we did it. And really, the rest is history.
Yeah.
But he did know about it. And for me and my family, that was such a big thing.
Oh, cool.
That's so lovely.
Yeah.
Christine, I mean, Doing something like this, going naked, I mean, it's nice with your mates and stuff like that, but actually having your photos taken, it really takes you out of your comfort zone.
Oh, it did.
What was it like for you, the experience?
Terrifying. I mean, I have to admit,
She agreed after a couple of bottles of wine and then she regretted it. A couple of glasses of wine.
Well, as I've said many times before, when you've stood in your friend's kitchen with her husband stood at the other side of the table pointing a camera at you, and you're stood there in your birthday suit with just a teapot between you and him, it's not normal.
There you are.
But it was a big
Just
teapot.
doing September stuff.
It was a bit, but mate, I have to say, my dressing gown was round my ankles at all times.
Who said it was a big teapot?
It was. Because Linda, it was your husband Terry.
It was.
So you were sort of art directing the whole thing.
I was, yes. I found all the props for them around the house. Amazingly, you know, Terry had thought about each girl, how he would like to photograph her.
Yeah.
And we'll need this, we'll need that, Linda. So I was running around the house, finding the props, and it just worked. Everything was there.
Fortunately, they had a cider press.
Have you still got the props? I mean, you can never look at that teapot again in the same way.
Well, actually, it was a big kettle, wasn't it?
It was.
And it came from across the road at the village hall.
Oh, that's
because we needed a big one for Christine, because she was the bigger buns, you know.
I really was pouring the tea because Terry wanted the actual tea to be covering a little bit of something. So but it was a tiny cup, so we kept having to stop, take the top off the teapot and pour the tea back in and start again. So
that spout was very conveniently positioned.
It was very cleverly done. Yeah.
You must have had so much fun and laughed at that day.
It was.
We did.
It was.
Apart
from Christine and Rose, Miss November, she was brave to do. Christine was brave to do, but we were just thrilled it was actually happening.
I love the story afterwards, though, because then obviously it becomes quite this kind of secretive, clandestine thing. Because this is the age before digital.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
We would
get it developed with someone you trust.
Yeah. And really, just as emails were coming out, and if it hadn't been that particular time, it had never gone.
We'd have been
never done.
We had to take the rolls of film to this little photography shop in Skipton and just say, please keep this a secret, don't tell anyone. And he did. He never told anyone. And he must have seen some terrible pictures of us.
But he didn't sell them to the News of the World, which still existed then.
No.
He was really good. He developed them as a form of sponsorship for us.
Yeah.
So he was a good guy.
Yeah,
was you worried about whether or not it was going to sell once it
Oh, we were.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we were going to have 1,000, sell them for £5 each and make £5,000 for the charity.
Right.
And we would have been thrilled and amazed with that. But then Terry found the printer who said they'd only do a 3,000 order. So we had an emergency meeting to think, who on earth was going to buy 3,000 copies of a calendar of us with no clothes on? And then we thought, we're going to go for it. What we don't sell, we'll mulch down, we'll make them into briquettes and we'll burn them on our fire.
But we didn't need to.
Yeah.
But it didn't work like that.
No.
They were gone.
So was there like a WI central office? And
head office.
We went to... we took our mock-up of our calendar to the head office of WI. We were very scared to go and to tell them what we'd done. Yeah. And even if they had have said, no, we don't want it, we would have done it.
We would have
because
done it.
that's why we called it alternative WI.
And when we
but they loved it.
And
they gave us their
these
blessing.
three ladies sat around and looked at it very quietly, and they looked at each photograph. And we thought, we hate it. Then we're going to be kicked out of the WI. And one of them turned to the other and said, well, I know what I'm buying my husband for Christmas.
That's right.
And then we away. And then when it was a huge success, because it was tricky when I told our WI what we'd done, because we didn't tell anybody.
We didn't tell our
because
WI.
We were determined to do it. And if you ask for a lot of advice,
you get
it. So we didn't want anybody to stop us or be negative about it. So our husbands had seen none of the photographs till the day of the launch.
Brilliant.
So we were really... But I had to tell WI in the February before and there was just silence. Went down like a cup of cold soup.
Oh, did it?
Silence. Nobody said a thing. I just sat down again and thought,
But seriously, this went global. It went all over the world. They made a film. I mean, how involved was you with regards to Hollywood? How involved in the film was you?
A real lot. You know,
Really?
yeah. I think it was 6 things I wanted. I wanted it to be shot in the Yorkshire Dales because John was the assistant national park officer for the Yorkshire Dales.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be all British, with British actresses and actors, because I knew there were some great ones.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to read scripts, sit round a table, and if there was something that we didn't like, that we could, you know, talk about it. And I wanted high royalties for the charity.
Yeah.
And after 6 months, I got all that, and I signed on the dotted line.
Since then, we've got the musical. Gary Barlow wrote the musical.
Yes.
It's incredible. And Blood Cancer UK. I mean, you know,
They've actually sent you a message, and they've actually sent this from everyone at Blood Cancer UK. We want to say a huge thank you to you and the Calendar Girls. Out of the tragedy of John's death from blood cancer has come something very special and inspiring. It has not only brought attention to the challenges faced by those with blood cancer, but also helped to raise £6 million, which is just incredible, helping fund significant advances in the blood cancer treatment. The Calendar Girls' unwavering support is bringing us ever closer to the day where no lives are lost from blood cancer. Oh, I've got emotional.
Thank you, lady. When we first started our fundraising, 9 out of 10 children would die from leukemia. And not just our money, but everybody who raises money for Blood Cancer UK. We've turned that round, so 9 will get better and 1 might not make it.
It's amazing.
So we have to keep going.
Well,
Everyone has to keep
only
going.
one question left. Are we going to keep going for a number 2?
No.
Or maybe you could ring some very influential friends.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm the odd one out, you see.
Oh, you're up.
Mr. Lai has influential
I think
friends.
if we thought we were going to make another £6 million, I think we'd all do it.
Oh, yeah, I'd get involved in that one. I'd get the backside for that. Do you know what I mean? I absolutely will. Well, I'd have 2 flowers. Actually, they're not big enough.
Oh, that's a good...
Listen, Angela, Trisha, Linda and Christine, thank you so much for joining us. But
Powerful stuff.
Incredible.
Joined now by the author Heather Morris and Melanie Linsky, who played Heather in the drama. Welcome to both of you.
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks for coming.
Heather,
wonderful. Let's start with you. Series is based on the best-selling book, your book of the first name. So when did you and how did you first meet Lali?
I met him because I had a cup of coffee with a friend who simply said, I have a friend whose mother has just died and his father wants to tell somebody his story. That person can't be Jewish. You're not Jewish. Do you want to meet him? Oh, sure. I like meeting people. And I met him the next week. That was in December 2003. Mm-hmm. So nobody say this is an overnight success.
No.
No,
it's a long time ago. I guess my question is, so were you looking to write at the time?
No, not at all. Not at all. I had a perfectly good career. I was fine. He wanted to talk to somebody.
And you wanted to talk to someone that wasn't Jewish?
That wasn't Jewish, who would listen.
Because of you were one stage detached or removed from... Yeah. Okay.
There could not be a Jewish person alive, he said, who didn't have baggage and did not have their own story. And how can they tell my story when they've got their own?
Yeah.
Very clear on that.
So what did you do then? What was your... Because your initial take was to write a screenplay, correct?
Yes, because I didn't know how to write a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Because you didn't write a screenplay, you wrote a book.
Well, yes, I wrote the screenplay, and it was even optioned in Melbourne with an attempt to try and make it into a feature film. And Lali was involved with that production company. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
But, of course, it didn't get up, as so many do, as you probably know. And it was only, I think in 2016, when I was visiting my brother and sister-in-law in San Diego, that my sister-in-law said to me, oh, for goodness sake, write the thing as a book and get on with it. Mm-hmm. She was tired of me complaining.
Yeah.
I gave it a go. I wrote a book.
Yeah.
Did you feel a sense of pressure knowing that you had to convey this story in the right way and you owed it to him to make it fantastic?
Look, you got it in one. I owed it to him and nobody else.
Yeah.
And I had been very clear from day one that I had not written the story of the Holocaust, but I've just written a Holocaust story.
Yeah.
Lali's story, his memory. It will differ to every other Holocaust survivor's. And so when the facts didn't always meet up with what he was telling me, and if it wasn't significant, I went with his memory.
Mm. That's so interesting, that, like how a memory crystallises, and I think especially when you've been through the trauma that Lali would have been through. Melanie, let's bring you in. So this gets optioned, this gets made. Obviously, you don't feature in the book, so were you hesitant to start with, Heather, that you were going to be a character in the adaptation?
No. Oh, no. No, that was never part of the deal.
Right.
It was to tell the book. But the wonderful producer and screenwriter who spent a lot of time with me, to get more information, and Jacqueline went back to Claire, the producer, and said, I think we've got a story within a story. And they arm up the back. And I could see the value of it, but not necessarily for my character, but for having somebody portray Lully as an old man who was the man I knew. And that hearing now his words and the way I had heard them.
Yeah.
And then we got this incredible woman here to come in and... You remember this is 20 years ago. Okay, I was younger, so ignore the grey.
For goodness sake. So, Melanie, tell us, did you actually read the book beforehand, or did you get enticed by the script?
I had not read the book. I remember telling a friend, I got asked to do this thing, and she said, have you not read that book? And I was like, no, I haven't. She was like, oh, I thought everyone had read it. And so I read the book after I had read the screenplays. Yeah.
But Nepal was the screenplay.
The screenplays were wonderful. The story is so compelling. It's an almost unbelievable story and beautifully written.
We interview a lot of actors now. We know a lot of actors who don't deliberately want to go back to the source material, and they want to concentrate on the script and kind of do what the director and the writer feels like that part is. Just so, where's your mind at? Do you like to go and find out everything about it, or the opposite?
This was kind of a different instance, I guess, because I'm not in the book, so there's a remove because of that. And then also just out of respect to Heather, I wanted to read her work, and I also was sort of reading it, imagining her writing it, imagining, like, how would it feel to write this paragraph? How would it feel to have heard this story and decide what to leave in and what to take out? So it wasn't like an immersive reading experience, but it was educational.
But what an exciting role to take on as well.
I know. And I got to have my own accent, which was nice.
Did you?
Yeah.
What, two Kiwis?
Yeah.
It's like twins.
It must be nice for you, Melanie, because, like, for the most part, and you do a very good American accent, but you for the most part, you rarely would use your own accent.
No, never. So that was very exciting. Yeah.
Do you feel pressure when you're playing somebody real?
Yes. It's horrible. Sorry. Again, sorry.
Stressful.
I did find it stressful because it's also like you can't really do like an impression.
No.
Because my role also in the series is kind of an audience surrogate. Like, there's these harrowing scenes in Auschwitz, and then it cuts back to somebody listening and taking it in. And there's a certain amount of like neutrality you have to have. So.
Well, up to recently, you thought you had Jewish heritage, didn't you?
I did.
A few years ago. Well, you would with your name, of course. It sounds cool.
Well, my name is Irish, as it turns
really?
out. Yeah.
I should know that.
So what did you do in DNA?
Only Irish.
You have no Jewish. Oh, sorry, pal.
Can we let's go back to Lali?
I was so heartbroken. I believed it my whole life.
Let's go back to Lali and tell his story. So people that don't know the book, what did he have to do to survive?
He made the decision when offered the role. He called it numbering, by the way, not tattooing, but I thought that would be too complicated to keep with that phrase. He wanted to live. He was offered an opportunity to have this role, numbering the prisoners as they came in, and he took it. Did he have guilt about that? Absolutely he did. Every survivor of Auschwitz and any horror has survivor's guilt. It's a matter of degree. He made that decision, but for him, look what the outcome was.
I mean, and to be fair, I guess it wasn't a decision, because the decision was you either do this or you die.
Pretty much, yes.
But he apologised every time he did it to people, didn't he?
Yes, and I know that for a fact. Oh, look, I'll do this briefly. I was actually in Auschwitz there one day, and there was a camp, a whole lot of kids from a school in Florida, and they were off to the side from me, and they had some rabbis there talking to them about where they were. And one of the rabbis said that before they left Florida to come to Auschwitz, he went and saw two women in his congregation who had been here. And at that point, my ears pricked up, and he said, I asked them, what do you remember about being tattooed? Was it painful? And in unison, these two women said, as if he'd given them the question ahead, I don't remember if it hurt. What I remember is the man who kept saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They don't know that I was sitting there listening to that, being told to these kids.
Wow. What do you want people to take from this? How important is it that the Holocaust lives on in our memory and we keep learning from it?
I want people to watch these episodes, and you may not enjoy them. That's not a word we can use, is it?
Yeah.
But when the episode ends, feel something. Just feel something. Anger, frustration, love, hurt, whatever. It's going to make you feel something.
Well, thank you, Heather. Thanks,
Thank you
Melanie,
so much.
as well.
Thank you,
The Tattoo
Melanie.
Baskets airs on Thursday, the 2nd of May on Sky Atlantic and on Now. The book is available to buy now. Thank you.
Lovely. It's time to...
Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're very well. There is, of course, a reason why Alison and I are in ballet shoes. We're about to become honorary members of the Silver Swans.
That's very, very true.
Dedicated ballet school for the over 55s.
Now, thankfully, we are not alone. As you saw earlier, our classmates have been limbering up. Isn't that right, classmates? You all right? Yeah. It's good to see you. They are the most graceful swans you've ever seen. We've got Norma, we've got Brian, we've got Hetty, and we've got Chris.
And keeping them in check, because let me tell you, you have to, is Silver Swan ballet teacher Raquel Ashton. Something lovely for you to join us. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the Silver Swans. How do they come about? How do you get involved with them?
OK, so the Silver Swans is a ballet programme that was launched by the Royal Academy of Dance in 2017.
Yeah.
Yes. And its research was based on dance practice for older learners, and the focus is on health, well-being, mobility and building self-confidence.
So you don't have to have danced before to be part of it.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, so
Yes.
nice.
And Raquel, you say working with the Silver Swans is your favourite members to work with.
They really are. They're the most rewarding group to work with because you literally see a transformation happen right in front of you. The bodies get stronger, more flexible, more coordinated, better balance, better posture.
And keeps you fit, doesn't it?
It keeps you very fit.
It keeps you very fit. Well, someone who's keeping very fit is you, Brian. How long have you been doing it for, and what is it you love about it?
5 years I've been doing it, and what I love is keeping fit by trying to be graceful to beautiful music. It's very simple. And you're not all sweaty and groaning in the gym or ploughing up and down a swimming pool. You're smiling and enjoying yourself. That's the great thing. I mean, the Royal Academy of Dance is the most amazing organisation. Everybody is lovely there. It is efficient, it is innovative, it is creative. It's a quite marvellous organisation.
And I suppose you get lots of friends as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We all get on extremely well together because we all have the same sort of ideas.
And how young are you, Brian?
I am very nearly 85.
Wow.
Are you joking, Brian?
No, I'm not
great.
joking,
On
unfortunately.
It's because he's so fit.
Yeah.
He's coming to his ballet. Norma, what do you love about being in the Silver Swans?
I have, I'm afraid my voice is a bit croaky today, but I just love the whole joy of it. It's a joyful experience, and I look forward to it every Friday.
Norma, did you have a late night last night? Is that what happened? You lot? We put you up in a hotel one night and you absolutely smashed it all night long. Is that what's happened, Norma? Is that what's going on?
No, it's not actually, but you can tease me if you like.
But you do see this as your highlight of your week, don't you?
I do actually, yes. I've danced since I was 6.
And what I love about it is there's not too much pressure on you to get it right, is there?
Absolutely not. Exactly right. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, it's all right, Brian.
Yeah, no, but that is the whole point.
Yeah.
They don't pull you up when you do things wrong, which one does inevitably the whole time. The whole thing is about enjoying oneself and trying to do these graceful movements and failing in my case, of course.
Chris, let's go over to you. What got you involved, Chris?
When I was working with Age Concern, as one of the other colleagues brought in a magazine, the Saga magazine.
Yep.
In it was a feature on the Company of Elders at Sadler's Wells. Well, that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Good for dance, good for older people, so I joined.
And how do you feel with that? What difference has it made to your life?
No aches and pains.
Oh.
Coordination has improved.
Yeah.
My balance, my posture, and it's given me so much confidence and self-esteem. You just feel so proud of yourself that you can do it at my age.
Builds up the old glutes as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Need a bit of that.
It's good for strength and stamina.
I'm with you. How old are you, Chris?
84 last week.
84. Hey! Congratulations. Happy birthday. Come on. Hetty, how do you get involved and what does it mean to you?
Largely mental health. It has been amazing.
Yeah.
The music, the dancing.
Yeah. I mean,
Kept me on my
you look
feet.
like you've done Swan Lake a few times back in the day.
Little
I mean,
bit.
yeah. Did you dance when you were younger?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did,
Okay.
yes.
And I know it's.
But I didn't dance for 45 years. I didn't do a
45
step
years.
until I came to Silver Swans at the Royal Academy of Dance.
Wow. Okay. And I know it's helped you over some health concerns you've had as well. You had cancer, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and did that give you the motive? Were you doing it before you were diagnosed with cancer?
Only 2 classes.
Okay.
And then I came back to it immediately.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was it a motivating factor in terms of you getting up and at 'em, I suppose, after...
Totally.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Totally.
So how do the classes work, Raquel? Is it like, because obviously, you know, Hetty's done it before and some of the guys might be new, so is it sort of all comers and you...
Yes, we welcome everybody, so it's all inclusive. The classes are taken at a slightly slower pace, and we tailor parts of the class to each of the individual needs of the students.
Yeah.
The class is slower. We minimise pirouettes and jumps. You can do the class seated, working the arms and the legs. We can just give the option of doing just one half of the enchaînement, which is, an enchaînement is a number of steps put together. So they can just do half of that. They could just do the bar.
My wife does ballet bar, and she goes back after ballet bar, and she says it's the best exercise she gets. She's absolutely shattered in a good way when she comes back from it. It's just properly work. It's a good core strength.
It's very good for core strength, very good, as you said, for glute strength. It strengthens the legs, it strengthens the body.
And like Hetty said, it's great for mental health, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And someone who's, advocates mental health, charities and things like that, is Camilla.
Yes.
Our queen. She's been to the class. What is she like?
Yes. Oh, she's fantastic. She's also a Silver Swan and takes classes.
Does she love it?
She does, yes. Yes.
OK, well, listen, we've got 2 new students in the house today. So where do you want us? What are we going to do?
Well...
Dermot's ready.
Dermot is more than ready. OK, so just find a space at the bar.
OK.
So if we can... That's it, fabulous.
Sorry, Raquel.
That's
I'm ready.
Absolutely fabulous. Wonderful. Now, we're going to put our feet in first position.
Oh, yes.
So we want to feel that we're drawing up at the front, pulling down at the back. Our heels are drawing together. We're picking up our elbows. Our shoulder blades are pressing down. Then you can put your hand on the bar there, Alison. That's it. Fantastic. Good. Now, from here, just keep your arm a little bit further forward, Dermot, so it's there. And just watch your thumb. Fabulous. Now, from here, we're going to take a demi-plie, pressing the knees out over the toes, and then we're stretching. Keep those legs nice and strong, drawing up from here. And again, demi-plie, and coming up. Good. And again, demi-plie, keep going. And a stretch. Fabulous. That's lovely coordination, Alison. Beautiful.
Thank you.
And demi-plie, pressing the knees out over the toes. And stretch. That's it, Dermot. Keep your fingers together. And so a little bit closer together. That's it. Make sure your knees track over your toes. Fabulous.
Over the
Good.
toes?
Yeah, so over your second toe. And bend and stretch. Now, let's see if we can go a little bit deeper now.
Oh,
And
deeper.
press, 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 press. Slightly release the heels off if you want to. And then slowly coming back up again.
Oh, yes.
Hetty, all the way down.
Yes.
I'm going all the way down now.
Fabulous. Have a go. And demi-plie. And all the way down. Release your
Get back
heels. Okay. So if you imagine you have an egg on your head,
Got dizzy.
Alison. Okay. Just take it easy. Let's just
all right,
stop there. You okay?
Yeah.
Take a deep
bit
breath.
dizzy. I haven't
Tell
been
you
down there
what.
for a while.
Fantastic.
Absolute marvel.
That was lovely.
Okay. Would you like to do some more?
Well, we will, but we'll have to wait till afterwards. Right?
Okay.
Is that
All
right?
right.
I enjoyed
Okay,
that.
that's
Just a marvel. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Just as a little thank you for coming down. Although Norma was out all last night, so I don't know if it's... She is definitely the trouble ringleader. Thank you for letting us join your class, allowing us to become honorary Silver Swans.
Yeah.
We've reached out to a couple of our friends out there, and our friends at the Royal Ballet have invited you to spend the evening together at the Royal Opera House at London's Covent Garden. We'll be watching the Royal Ballet's brand new production of Swan Lake starting this June. One of the best seats in the house. As a big thank you from the Royal Ballet and, of course, all of us to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your time. Enjoy.
We will.
Welcome back. Oh, what's going on here?
Is it just me, or things got a little bit chilly and spooky in here?
It's a little bit spooky, perhaps. It's because in the United States right now, a couple, Rebecca Carmichael and Catherine Elaine, are waiting to tell us all about a mysterious man who's become the third person in their relationship.
He's called Rupert. He's from Wales. And here's a ghost. Good morning to the pair of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, thanks for joining us. I imagine it's very early there. Rebecca, let's start with you. So yes. Rupert the ghost, he loves you, he lives with you. Who is he? How did your relationship start?
Well, it started with me walking past a very haunted place later in the evening time, and he was concerned that I was walking home alone. That was back in 2020. And let me just tell you, it was nothing that happened overnight. It's not like I was going searching and being like, yes, who can I add to, my dating repertoire? This was, I would say, a combination of fate and accident and a lot of open-mindedness.
Okay, well, I'm very open-minded, and I have noticed there's a third chair right there next to you. Can I ask the question, has Rupert joined you today?
He is here in spirit.
Oh, lovely. And what does he look like? Because I've heard that you've made an AI version of him. Can you give us the lowdown on what he kind of looks like?
Yeah, so when he's very tall, which is very comical for me because I am 5 feet tall, he's 6'6". Wow. Goodness, I could do a conversion of meters and probably embarrass myself right now.
Right, no.
So, but he is blonde, blue eyes.
Yeah. Oh, he sounds nice.
Wonderful. I'm getting Disney
and
vibes.
Lean build.
Oh, we've got the picture. We can show the pictures. We've AI'd him up, right? It says you're AI. Can we take a look at him? Oh, yeah.
Dr. Scott.
It's Dr. Scott.
Yeah.
You're literally going out with Ghost Dr.
Do you know what?
This is our resident vet. Hey, listen. So, I mean, he's got the looks. But Rebecca, did you see him first, or did you hear him? Like, do you get apparitions, or is he just present?
That's a really great question. It's a combination of different senses. I saw him with my physical eyes, which is called clairvoyance. I saw more of him with my inner eye clairvoyance, so that's like mental imagery. And I'm also clairsentient, so that's the ability to pick up on electromagnetic shifts or to actually feel like goosebumps or heat or cold, that sort of thing. So it was kind of a combination of like my brain saying, something is there or someone is there. And then I looked up and I was like, oh, there's an outline of a man.
Yeah. Some revolutionary from Wales from the 1700s.
And he's hot as well. I'd definitely speak to him. So, obviously, you then met Catherine, who came into your life and became your living partner, who you love dearly. How did you introduce Rupert to Catherine? And Catherine, was you cool with this situation?
Well, I came into this situation aware that Rupert existed, and
You helped to prove his existence.
I helped to prove his existence,
which is super cool.
Because I am a paranormal investigator, so I had all the fancy tech and equipment that I could use to be like, hey, let's see if we can catch him on some of this equipment, and we did. So I was aware, and I was like, all right, I can handle this.
Nice. And Catherine, did you have your own side action on the ghost going on yourself? Did you, anyone that you were seeing at the time before you got involved with these two?
Wow, it's so funny you say that. No.
Not at all. So tell me how this relationship, Rebecca, tell me, what do you get from Rupert that you don't get from Catherine?
And vice versa.
Gasp. Oh, my goodness.
I'm ready.
It's a good
ready.
question, isn't it? It's a good question.
Break this to you. Oh, no.
Drama alert, go for it.
So, one, I just want to lay out the context of the question might imply that either one of them leaves me needing in some area.
I'm great.
I would agree, actually. One thing with poly relationships, which I would consider this an extension of that, is sometimes you hang out all together. Sometimes you fill in time in different places. Oftentimes when I'm going on a walk, that's a time that I can spend with Rupert. And then coming back home, we can watch TV together. And sometimes we all hang out at the same time. We do have similar interests. We really enjoy going to historic places. Mm-hmm. And both of you fill my life in very different ways, emotional ways, and just, oh goodness, it's even hard to explain because I feel so full. And it's a unique thing, and it's certainly not something that I would say, hey, everybody, run out and do this, because no, I would not recommend. It comes with a lot of understanding, as you might imagine.
Yeah. Catherine, do you get to spend any one-on-one time with Rupert?
I do, yes. I do hang out with Rupert. We have talked about history together. I've asked him questions about from where I grew up, things that he might understand about where he's from. We just kind of hang out. We joke with each other. We both have a very similar sense of humor and
dry.
Yeah, very dry.
We like dry.
It's very dry, and it's great.
I've got a question. This is try. I don't know. Either of you can maybe answer it. So we would like to have Rupert here with us, invite him to the studio.
Obviously, we did invite him to the studio, didn't we?
So could he actually be able to come? Like, could he apparate in different places in your experience, or a ghost kind of stuck to the place that they inhabit or they're passed in?
Well, he was stuck for a while. I found him outside of a house that he would have been outside of in 1781. That was when Wilmington was occupied by the British Army, and he was a part of the British Army. I don't think I mentioned that. So the first time I saw him, he was in a red coat, which, I mean, that was cool. Like, that was cool. That being said, for a ghost to travel, oftentimes they need a kind of anchor point. So unless one of you are like psychic mediums or something like that, I don't think he could just pop over, like it's not as easy sometimes.
Fair enough.
Gotcha.
We understand. Obviously, I'm in this story. I'm invested. However, there's going to be people out there going, this is a bit odd. They're a little bit cynical. Uh-huh. What would you say to those people?
I would say it's just like when someone that you love has, passed away, you don't lose love that you've had for that person. You continue to love that person even after. And I met so many people who were like, yes, I still feel my loved one with me. It's the same concept. It's just they met under different circumstances.
Correct. And Rupert and I have an understanding. He doesn't want to get in the way of me having a physical existence, of living a full life. He's not around to keep that from me. So that's why the two of us being together, that brings him joy. And it's the same thing with past loved ones too. Oftentimes, if a partner passes on, they want the person who's still alive and around to have a fulfilling life. Okay. And that's the most kind of selfless love.
Good for you guys. You're happy, you're not hurting anyone. You go, you live your lives.
You're living your best life as far as I'm concerned. Thank you so much for joining us.
Rebecca. Thanks, Catherine. Thanks, Rupert Oops.
I want a Rupert in my life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Love you too.
I want a Rupert.
Will haunt you.
Will you?
To the day you die.
Well, if I die first, I'm going to do the same to you.
I want you to.
Now, our next guest has endured years of torment at the hands of a stalker she only ever met once.
Yeah, so Jenny Pickering, thanks for joining us, Jenny, was left too terrified to even close her eyes in the shower after her stalker, Jan Schlossler, bombarded her with sexual messages, moved close to be close, move near to her house to be closer to her, and even proposed to her at a workplace.
As her tormentor is set to be released from jail for a third time, Jenny is joining us to open up about her shocking ordeal in the hope that helping others, she can help. She's here with criminologist, a psychologist, Dr. Shoham Das. Morning to both of you.
Morning, both of you.
Thank you for joining us. Let's start off with you, Jennifer, because you worked in a centre which recruited people.
Yeah.
And you were just going about your day as normal. Yeah. And tell us from that moment what happened.
So I put an advert out, and as with everything, I got a lot of response. The person that responded to the advert lived in Peterborough, and this was Jan. I was working in Leicester at the time, and he wanted to be a driver. Now, as driving hours are, you can't actually drive over a certain amount per day. He wanted to add a 2-hour journey onto that, which was already strange for me. So I kind of pushed back a little bit, but he was quite determined that he wanted this job. So I said, OK, bear in mind you'll be travelling an hour there, an hour back. He came into the office, he spent 4 hours filling an application form that took 45 minutes.
Why was it taking so long?
It was a strange situation, but he was kind of just sitting at the end of the office, didn't need any help with it. But you can't force anybody to sort of say, you know, I need to fill this in, can you leave? So you just have to sort of
let them
carry on. Yeah, carry on. He was very much wanted the position, so I put him forward and he got the job, which then meant that he was working kind of with me on a weekly basis with checking in timesheets and making sure his hours were all correct.
But Jenny, just for context here, you've only met him in person once.
Once.
And for how long?
Probably spent 10 minutes talking to him,
right,
4 hours in the same building.
Then it's 4 hours in the same building.
Yeah.
And then your contact with him after that is just you checking in schedule-wise and...
Timesheets once a week.
So when did the red flag start?
Immediately.
Really?
He started to send me texts each day, just to say, I've had this, you know, I've had a good day, I've done this, done that. They started to get more frequent. It started to become in the middle of the night. I kind of felt sorry for him to begin with. I thought, OK, he's a lonely driver, he works long hours, it's just the situation that he's in. But then I started to realise that this is a little bit more. When I started to feel really uncomfortable, we reported it. So we reported it to the police.
Was that just a gradual thing?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, out of office hours is bad, but did it become inappropriate?
It did become inappropriate when it was reported. It kind of happened within 48 hours. So he was sending me a lot of messages, and then all of a sudden he was sending me pictures of himself dressed up in a suit saying, I'm dressed up for you, I'm standing outside the car park, are you here?
No.
In Leicester, yeah, there's about 4 or 5 multi-storey car parks that I'd use, and he would go to each car park and send me a picture, almost taunting me with the car park behind, saying, which car are you driving? I'll be here at 4:30. So every time I finished work, I knew he was going to be looking for me because he knew where I worked. He just wasn't brazen enough to sort of come in to me at the time. It escalated, and he did then turn up. I'd already reported it to the police, and he turned up. He stood at the window with flowers and a ring, and he wanted to get married to me.
So did all your colleagues know what was going on?
Yeah. So we were talking about it on a regular basis and saying, look, it's starting to get a little bit weird. We were an office of women. We didn't have any men in there at the time. And we all sort of were of the same opinion. We know that as a woman, you know that you can have unwanted attention, but you kind of ignore it and it will go away. But then it got to the stage where I'd said, stop doing this. It's making me feel uncomfortable and you will lose your job if you carry on. And he carried on. And I think that's when we all started to say, what the hell's going on? Because you don't know him.
Do you think he's enjoying the fact that he's upsetting you?
I think at the start, he possibly did prey on the fact that it was just women in the office, because he was very aware of that. So when he turned up at the window, he came in and he was told to leave, but he did force himself. No, he didn't push anybody, he didn't force physically, but he forced himself back in the office on a second time that day, and that's when he was arrested.
And he was given a lifetime restraining order?
Wasn't immediately, so he was arrested, and that's where it became scary. So I already felt uneasy. When they arrested him, they found a lot of things on his phone. He had been actively stalking me. He'd been staying in a hotel that was next door, but then wrapped over the top of the office. He'd been staying in the hotel. He'd been in cafes across the road. He'd been, for some reason, taking a bus that looped round past the office just to look through. And at that very moment, when he was arrested that day, they found out that he'd actually moved on that day from Peterborough to live probably about 2 minutes from my house. He'd overheard as he was sat in the 4 hours where I lived, and he moved that day.
You must be thinking, what have I done to deserve, I literally spend 45 minutes in your company and that's it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Trying to get him a job, trying to help him as well.
Unbelievable. They literally rang me 11:30. They said, we're just releasing him. By the way, he is going to be living within 2 minutes of your house.
So it now feels like you're in this cycle of he's got this lifetime restraining order, but theoretically, and he's not allowed to live in Leicester, but theoretically he could be living 5 miles away from you, and that's okay.
100%.
And every time he comes out, he just reoffends.
Yeah, he doesn't mean anything.
So then they just put him back in prison, but he doesn't care. So every time he comes out, he does the same thing.
Yeah.
So he's breaching it every single time?
Every time. He did it within 2 hours. He came out of prison on one occasion and he went straight into a shop, bought a phone and rang me within 2 hours of his release. And he just said, "Hi, baby, it's me."
Oh, my
And I was just sat there. I didn't even know he'd come out of prison and my mouth just hit the floor.
And how have the police been?
They've been amazing.
Yeah.
Really good. I understand that the law isn't necessarily great against stalkers at the moment, so they had to wait. And it was hard to begin with because I was a sitting duck. They had to wait for laws to be broken for anything to happen in a way. I mean, they did at one point tell me that I needed to collect DNA underneath my fingernails.
What?
And put my hands in my pockets because they thought he was going to attack me, and that would then give them the evidence to charge him. And that left me very scared to think that something's going to have to happen to me.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. Obviously, he's put Facebook statuses on that he's with you and things like that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
How has this impacted your life?
It's changed me completely. I used to be really outgoing and I'm not anymore. I just don't want to meet anybody because I don't know what they're going to do or who they are. And it's not that everybody's a bad person, but I never expected in a million years for somebody to be this unhinged. And I'm very caring as a person, and I think I justified it a lot to say you don't know what somebody's going through, they might be lonely, and it actually, you need to stand up straight away. As soon as it feels uncomfortable, stand up and say, because honestly, it's only going to be you that suffers.
You're
and that's
just being
how
a nice person, aren't you?
Yeah,
But that doesn't, you deserve your happiness and you deserve your privacy and you're just be able to live a normal life.
Yeah.
Shay, I'm sorry I haven't come to you first. It's just such a sort of compelling story. So, OK, firstly, how does someone become a stalker? Why does someone become a stalker? What sort of stalkers are there?
Yeah, so there's different categories of stalkers, and we can categorise them in terms of their motivation, right? So you can get your rejected stalker, who is somebody that's already been in a relationship with the victim and they're trying to reconcile the relationship. They won't take no for an answer. Then you have a resentful stalker, which is not necessarily about a romantic connection, but it's somebody who feels aggrieved. They feel like the victim. It could be an argument over property, for example, and they do whatever they can to make the victim's life hell. And then you have an incompetent suitor, which is what I think is relevant in Jenny's case. So that's somebody who genuinely thinks that what they're doing from their perspective is romantic.
Like a fantasist.
Yeah, a fantasist. And there's even a subcategory of that called erotomania, which is a mental illness. And I do wonder whether Jenny Stalker has this, even though he's not been diagnosed with this. And that's having delusional ideas, so actually believing that you're in a relationship.
See, what I don't understand, though, is how he's been declared sane, because it just doesn't sound like rational, sane behaviour.
No. It's hard to know for definite without assessing him in person, but it's not inconceivable that he could have hidden his thoughts and his delusional beliefs because he knew that it would be the quickest way for him to leave hospital. Because I believe he was in a psychiatric unit.
He was, yeah, and he was calling me from the psychiatric hospital.
Oh, my God.
Do you think these stalkers can really love in their head?
It depends on the category. So if you've got somebody like a resentful stalker, or the one that I hadn't mentioned yet, which is the predatory stalker who gets a perverse pleasure from making their victim feel uncomfortable, and I think there is an element of that in a stalker. I don't think those people can or want to change. But if it's something like a mental illness which can be treated in theory with medication, or if there's risk factors, so for an example, substance misuse is highly correlated with stalking behaviour, right? So you have people that become disinhibited when they drink or take drugs, for example. So you remove those kind of risk factors through rehabilitation, then you reduce the risk of the stalking behaviour.
And Dr. Shaham, can you spot early on the signs of someone who could potentially be a stalker?
Yeah. I think if you're previously in a relationship with them, then there are red flag signs, like somebody being controlling, dominating, controlling somebody's finances, watching where they go. I think in Jenny's case, there wasn't enough time to spot it, really. I mean, it happened so quickly. So worrying behaviour would be anything that makes the victim feel uncomfortable, whether it's unwanted attention, text messages like happened in your case, so anything that's just pushing the boundaries that feels uncomfortable to the victim.
Jenny, before we let you go, obviously we get so many people on the sofa that, like, just circumstance and life happens to them, and then, they become an unintentional expert in the world they find themselves in. What would you like to see change? Is there a law that could be more robust here?
I'd like to see a lot more support for people that are going through this kind of situation, because the first thing that I found was when it happened to me, everybody thought I'd been in a relationship with this person, and I had to keep explaining I don't know him.
Yeah. Met him once.
There's no advice that I could go. Even the Stalkers Helpline was geared up to say it was your ex-boyfriend, and it was just, I felt so lonely. And I think because we're all sort of, we're all online and a lot of more internet stalking happens, this is something that is actually really common but doesn't get brought first and foremost to the attention of, the nation, or go into the paper, because it's just so, it's online, it's on Facebook, and it gets a closed deal. So I think there's a lot more that needs to be done with regards to support for people that don't know the stalker. And I would like to,
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. Charm, thank you so much for joining us.
Eczema is something that affects 1 in 10 adults and 1 in 5 children, and is a condition our next guest has been battling with since birth.
Now, Amy Aston had been managing her symptoms with steroid medication, but in January this year, Amy says her usual steroid cream suddenly started to burn her skin, making her eczema the worst it has ever been.
Yeah, so she hoped stopping her medication would resolve the issue. Then it made it worse. She was hospitalised and left fearing for her life after experiencing severe withdrawal symptoms.
Now, Amy joins us now to share her story alongside dermatology expert Dr. George McCreath. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, I just said in that very sentence, her eczema flared up. And I'm just going to come to you, George. Is it eczema, the flare-up after using the steroid cream?
Well, that is precisely the controversy. And the question is, yes, if you've got an inflammatory skin condition that's being controlled by a treatment like topical steroids and you stop those steroids, it will almost certainly flare back up again. And that's the view of most dermatologists, that they're seeing these patients whose skin's become inflamed, and if only they'd put the steroids back on their skin, things would calm down and get better. But the patient knows their skin, they know what's going on in their body, and they know that putting the topical steroid on in this condition is what's causing the skin to become totally unstable. And so it's a completely different entity. Not common. We don't know how common it is because there isn't a label for it that the profession has accepted. And so we can't do prevalence studies for this. But I think it's a lot more common than is acknowledged by the profession. And in this condition, the skin just becomes really wild. It becomes red all over, far more widespread than the eczema was. Red, painful, a pain beyond anything they've ever experienced. Itch of a different intensity, peeling, red and weeping and utterly inflamed. And it's not that putting more steroids on would calm that down. They would bite your hand off to have topical steroids if that was the answer.
OK, well,
it's the topical steroids that drive it.
Let's hear Amy's story, because this is what this is a lived experience. You've been through it. You've been on social media talking about it. When did you first notice that you suffered with eczema?
So as a baby,
so all your life.
Yeah, I've basically grown up with, diagnosed with eczema, and I've got various other things, like allergies. I've got celiac disease, so kind of autoimmune things going on with my body. But obviously, from an early age, my mum was given steroid creams to use, and she did so, from the advice of the doctors, and I've continued to do that, up until January.
And how was it working for you up until then? Like, did you feel the benefits growing up with it?
Yeah, so lots of people describe it as magic. They'll say that cream is magic. It gets rid of your, eczema, and but for me, it just, there was a turning point over the last couple of years where I just felt like it was that withdrawal. My skin it would heal, but then it'd come back with a vengeance a few
Even
days
though you were
later.
still taking it?
Yeah, and I'd put more on
Right.
to try, or I'd be given a stronger steroid cream to use, and it's just obviously progressed over the last couple of years and got worse and worse.
How did this affect your life?
I'm surrounded by so much support that actually I feel quite lucky in the fact that, my work are so supportive. My husband is my absolute rock, and my family, my sisters, and I've got such a good support network that I'm really lucky in the fact that they've supported me. But my mental health over the years has been so up and down because of my skin.
Yeah.
Cancelled plans, with friends.
Oh, I know.
watching my children growing up, you know, when I've just recently been in hospital, my daughter was about to take her first steps. And I was so worried that I was saying to my husband, sit her down. If she looks like she's going to walk, sit her down. I don't want to miss it. So, you know, it's...
So you couldn't even lift up your baby?
No,
because
no.
It was so sore?
You know, no cuddles. You know, they knew, so they'd try and come to me and say, oh, can I just give you a bit of a hug? And, yeah, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. You know, it has been horrendous.
So, Amy, when you withdrew and you came off the steroid cream, how long did it take before your symptoms got a lot worse?
So I stopped using them. I decided to stop using them myself in January.
Because of the pain?
Because of the pain it was causing when I was putting it on. And I felt like they were making it worse.
Yeah.
So I just listened to myself and said, you know, why am I doing this to myself? So I stopped. And it probably took a month for it to become at the height of the worst of it, where I was getting the symptoms of like swelling in my face, my glands swelled up, you know, the burning sensation, but feeling freezing cold. Probably took a month to get to that stage, so it just got progressively worse over that amount of time, really.
So is it affecting your throat and everything, like being able to eat and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was in a lot of pain with my glands, you know, everything swollen. So yeah, it was affecting me in every possible way. It was affecting me, basically. Sleep, couldn't sleep because of the itching, oozing from every part of my skin, you know.
Oh, my goodness.
George, so this is topical steroid withdrawal, right? The TSW. So it's not much is known about it. There's not an awful lot of research done about it, correct?
Correct.
So what do you think needs to be done? What can be done to help people like Amy?
Well, I think a number of things need to be done. Obviously, it isn't always topical steroid withdrawal.
Yeah.
So it can sometimes be an inflammatory skin condition that's been suboptimally treated. It could be an allergic reaction to the topical steroid, and that is described to topical steroid molecules. But there's this specific entity, which Amy has just described beautifully, and is devastating from the patient's point of view. A study showed that 16% of patients with this contemplate suicide. That's nearly 1 in 5. And part of that is because what I think needs to be done is the medical profession has been, to a large extent, blinkered to this diagnosis, partly because we don't know how to manage it. We don't know what to do. And for years, we've used topical steroids for inflamed skin, and that's our go-to thought. And suddenly, this is the thing that might be driving it. So we feel incapacitated. So the profession needs to accept it and listen to our patients and respect our patients and work with them, not against them. I've even had parents of children with this condition. It's usually young women between the ages of sort of 18 and sometimes under 18 up to sort of 35, more than men, but it also affects men, typically younger people, and mostly affects the face and the genital area, delicate skin areas, which are awful. And often they don't get much good response from the medical profession, so they don't come to us, so we don't know how often it is. But it can affect children. And I had the parents of a child who the doctors reported them to social services because the parents refused to put more topical steroids on their skin. And they weren't doing it because they knew the topical steroids were driving it.
And is there an alternative?
There's this war going on, and with social media and the medical profession, we need to come together. And the British Association of Dermatologists and the National Expert Society have been working fantastically to produce some guidance and some leadership here, and had written some position statements and working with the medicine MRHA, who license products, to try to get some acknowledgement of what's really going on here, so the profession can start to work effectively with their patients rather than against their patients.
Amy, is there anything you take now? Where is your life now? Is there anything that works for you?
That soothes you. And anybody out there who's in the same position, what would you use now instead of the steroid cream?
I wish I'd got the answers, but I can obviously only describe what I've been sort of doing over the last couple of weeks, but it's things like, Dead Sea salt baths. When I'm oozing, that really helps to kind of like stop that, and it's soothing, or oat baths. That's kind of the only time the itch kind of goes away, sitting in a bath, but trying not to stay in too long. I've bought myself a scratch star from Cozy Care that's it's supposed to help with the, my nails, at my skin. Okay. It's a softer, and they've got a nice smooth roller as well, so I've been using that. I've been trying out different creams that maybe, I think it's a shame because it's a case of trial and error to find a cream that is suitable for your skin. But different types of emollients. There's, you know, the creams side of things as well.
Can I just
like I say, I wish I got the answers.
I do not want the message to go out there that people should stop their topical steroids. Because I could not manage skin disease without using topical steroids. And for the vast majority of patients who use a topical steroid, they are fantastic. They don't smell, they're really powerful, they're clean, and then inexpensive. So for the vast majority of patients who have a skin disease that can be controlled with a topical steroid, they should continue to use them as recommended by the doctor, the right quantity, in the right strength, in the right areas. We shouldn't stop that. But when this happens, I'm delighted to hear that you can do this to your skin, because a lot of people say their skin is so sore they can't even wash. They can't put their skin in water. And putting an emollient on, which is normally soothing, stings intolerably. So this is a different, specific entity that needs a lot of research.
Well, Amy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
you.
Okay,
I really appreciate you coming today.
Can help, you know, some people out there as well.